Chapter 3074. Shui Jiyu had returned from the blood-refining planet? Damn it, this woman was a lunatic. She definitely had the strength to compete for the top 5 this time. Shui Jiyu, Ling Longfeng, ranked second. She was a terrifying woman who cultivated in the blood-refining mountain all year round. The blood-refining planet was not under the jurisdiction of the extraordinary warrior mansion. It was an ownerless planet, not far from the extraordinary warrior mansion. This planet was too dangerous. It was a place where no one cared about. There were battles every day, and geniuses fell every day. It was extremely dangerous. Ordinary geniuses like the extraordinary warrior mansion and the heavenly clouds mansion would not go to such a place. Only those ambitious and ruthless people, perverts, lunatics, and those who had offended others from other planets could survive there. Shui Jiyu had been there all year round. She was definitely a terrifying lunatic. Mo Tian was also incredible. It was said that he had found the remains of a half-step saint and obtained a lot of good things. Mo Tian, ranked second on the Divine Tactics Mountain and 7th on the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion. It seemed that this time he was also a popular candidate for the top 5. These were all top figures. Their fortuitous encounters and the changes in their strength were enough to cause a storm in the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion. The full moon peak was also not calm because Hey Mo had also returned. Hey Mo did not choose the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion to cultivate in seclusion this time, but another planet. It was called the Fallen Abyss Star. It was said that this planet was ruled by a demonic sect. The entire planet was filled with terrifying demons. However, a peerless expert passed by and killed all the demons in this world. That place became a purgatory on Earth. It could be said that it was a place with monstrous demonic chi. Those half-step saints were not willing to go there. This place was where Hey Mo cultivated in seclusion. Hey Mo had made up his mind this time because he'd suffered 2 consecutive blows during the ranking competition on Full Moon Peak. First, he'd lost to Huangfu Beitian, then he'd lost to Lin Xian. And this was something he couldn't accept. In particular, Lin Xian had successfully comprehended the full moon wordless steel, which stimulated Hey Mo even more. Therefore, Hey Mo disregarded everything and even risked his life to go to the fallen abyss. It was all for the sake of improving himself. After a few months of inhuman torture and some fortuitous encounters, his strength had finally undergone earth-shaking changes. He even obtained a broken treasure of the demonic sect, the demonic flag. Once he used the demonic chess set and added the power of his bloodline, he could reach 65,000 Archean power. Although it couldn't compare to the North Yao, it should be enough to deal with Huangfu Beitian and Lin Xian. Damn brat, just you wait. This time, I will defeat you in front of everyone. I will let everyone know that Hey Mo, am the strongest. Black Demon grinned hideously. Demonic chi surged from his body as he returned to the full moon peak. The aura he brought with him alarmed the prodigies on the Plenilune Bee. Hey Mo was back. His aura was so powerful. Damn it, what had he gone through? How could his strength increase so quickly? I heard that he fell into the abyss. It couldn't be. That place had a high chance of survival. Even a half-saint wouldn't want to go there. Who would have thought that the Black Demon would dare to go? No wonder his strength had increased so quickly. Everyone was shocked. Black Demon returned. He shouted confidently and arrogantly, "Where are Huangfu Beitian and Lin Xian? Tell them to come out. I will let them know who is the strongest person on the full moon peak." Everyone's expression changed when they heard that. They didn't expect that the first thing the Black Demon did after returning was to fight Huangfu Beitian and Lin Xian. However, it was understandable. After all, the Black Demon was such a proud person, but he had been defeated by the 2 of them. Now that his strength had increased greatly, he naturally wanted to take revenge. Huangfu Beitian hadn't come out of seclusion yet, right? How much had his strength increased? Lin Xian should also be in seclusion. However, it wouldn't be easy for the Black Demon to defeat Lin Xian. Yes, Lin Xian had defeated the Poison King a few months ago. His strength was absolutely terrifying. Even if the Black Demon's strength had increased greatly, he might not be a match for him. After the Black Demon returned, he found that Huangfu Beitian and Lin Xian were both in seclusion. This made him very unhappy. Could it be that he had to wait until the competition to deal with these two people? Thinking about it, he revealed a trace of malevolence. Fine, he would defeat these two people in front of everyone in the competition. The Black Demon had already imagined that scene in his mind. He would step on Huangfu Beitian and punch Lin Xian, showing off his strength. Thinking of this, he laughed complacently. This kind of scene was really exciting. However, half a day later, his face was gloomy and his body was covered in monstrous demonic energy. Because he heard a rumor. This rumor was spread from the mouths of several martial artists. They said that he challenged Lin Xian and was in danger. There was almost no chance of winning. Damn it. How was this possible? Even if that kid was talented, his strength definitely didn't increase as fast as his. He entered the falling abyss this time and narrowly escaped death. That was why his strength increased greatly. It was really for revenge. That kid was only in seclusion and comprehending some things. How could he be stronger than him? What a joke. He didn't believe it at all. A bunch of idiots. What did they know? How could my strength increase be imagined by you? If you talk nonsense again, I'll kill you. The Black Demon walked between the full moon peak and roared coldly at the geniuses who were discussing. Those geniuses felt their scalps go numb. Just the aura emitted by the Black Demon was enough to make them collapse. However, since Lin Xian represented the extraordinary warrior mansion and defeated the genius of the Heavenly Clouds mansion, Xian Yun, and the Poison King, he had won a group of followers. Many of them were afraid of the Black Demon, but they still supported Lin Xian. One of the female geniuses was extremely beautiful. Even though her face was pale, she could not help but mutter softly, "That's right. What's wrong with that? Although you're powerful, Lin Gongzi also defeated the Poison King. That's right, Lin Gongzi's strength is super strong. He might not lose." Another female martial artist also discussed in a low voice. What did you say? He defeated the Poison King? The Black Demon's hearing was very strong. Although the two female geniuses whispered, he still heard them clearly. When he heard the news, the Black Demon's first reaction was that it was impossible. What a joke. How could that kid defeat the Poison King? He knew that the Poison King was a genius of the Heavenly Clouds mansion, and he was an expert in using poison. The Poison King's divine ability was strange and impossible to guard against. If a king realm cultivator was careless, there was no way to cure his poison, especially when the Poison King had the 7-colored centipede. Even a half-step saint would be seriously injured if they were bitten by it. He felt his scalp go numb when he saw such a person. In the past, he couldn't defeat the Poison King at all. Now, even if his strength had increased greatly, he didn't dare to fight the Poison King easily. Could Lin Xian defeat such an existence? He didn't believe it. Chapter 3075. After all, he had been cultivating outside and had not seen the previous battle. Now he only heard about it from these people. How could he believe it? He knew that these people would exaggerate when they talked about it. Therefore, he would not take this kind of rumor seriously. Damn kid, I didn't expect that in the few months I was away, he would swindle people again. Well, when he comes out, I'll teach him a lesson in public during the competition. I'll trample on this kid in front of all the elders and sect members. Hey Mo snorted coldly and turned to leave. Hey Mo's powerful return not only caused a stir in the full moon peak, but also in the other peaks. After all, his return from the fallen abyss was really eye-catching. As the day of the competition approached, the sky prides of the 4 peaks came out of seclusion, especially the top 3. When they heard that Hey Mo had returned from the fallen abyss, they were very surprised. Hey, Mo really doesn't care about his life. In order to improve his strength, he went to such a place. It seems that his strength has increased greatly this time. He's a strong enemy. Many people's eyes flickered, and they clenched their fists. After all, Hey Mo was ranked 9th last time. This time, his strength had increased again. They were afraid that he wanted to reach the top 5. I wonder how Huangfu Beitian is doing? There's also Lin Xian. Huangfu Beitian was ranked 1st in the Full Moon Peak and 5th in the Extraordinary Scholar Mansion. He was very powerful and could not be underestimated. He was very likely to reach the top 3 this time. As for Lin Xian, he was even more amazing. They had seen with their own eyes that he had successfully comprehended the full moon wordless stele. He was a genius that was hard to come by in 10,000 years. However, although he was talented, these sky prides did not take him seriously for the time being. It was not easy to successfully comprehend the full moon wordless stele. Although Lin Xian had the opportunity to comprehend it, it would be impossible for him to succeed without a few hundred years. In just a few months, it would be difficult for his strength to change dramatically. Even if he did, he would not surpass them. However, they were soon stunned, because they learned that when they were in seclusion, the heavenly cloud mansion sent sky prides to challenge them. One of them was called Xian Yun. He was very powerful and defeated the geniuses of the Extraordinary Scholar Mansion. If it were not for Qin Wu and Zhong Linxiu, the Extraordinary Scholar Mansion would not have won. What happened next? The geniuses of the 4 peaks had ugly expressions on their faces. Damn it. These guys actually dared to attack us while we were in seclusion. When the time comes, we'll definitely pay them a visit and get our revenge. In their opinion, this time, their Extraordinary Warriors Mansion had definitely lost their face and returned with a great defeat. However, the result was once again beyond their expectations. From the mouths of the surrounding martial artists, they found out that their outstanding scholar manner didn't lose this time, but instead won. Not only did he get back at Xian Yun in the end, he even made the arrogant Xian Yun apologize and cripple his own arms. What was going on? The geniuses who were in seclusion asked quickly. Soon, they heard a name, Lin Xian. At the critical moment, it was Lin Xian who made a forceful move, defeating Xian Yun. Damn it, this brat's strength is actually so strong. These people were surprised, but what was even more shocking was still to come. What did you say? Not only did that brat defeat Xian Yun, he even defeated the Poison King. Which Poison King? Chen Ke from the Heavenly Clouds Mansion? Impossible. Chen Ke's strength was extremely terrifying, especially with the 7-colored centipede in his hands. Ordinary people would not be willing to fight with him at all. Even invincible kings would be killed. He would be injured for half of his life. What? You saw it with your own eyes? I won't believe it even if you beat me to death. Lin Xian can't possibly defeat such a person unless I saw it with my own eyes. These geniuses who were in seclusion all shook their heads in disbelief. This news was too shocking, and they couldn't accept it immediately. The North Demon also received this news and frowned. He directly summoned Qin Wu to his side. Sister, what's going on? Are the rumors outside true? Qin Wu immediately told the North Demon everything that had happened a few months ago. After the North Demon heard this, his expression was incomparably solemn. The joy of increasing his strength from his seclusion also vanished. In that case, the Poison King was really defeated by Lin Xian. This Lin Xian even comprehended 2 extremely terrifying powers. The North Demon took a deep breath. He didn't expect that the shocking news outside was actually true. But how was this possible? How could Lin Xian possibly defeat the Poison King? What were those 2 mysterious powers? Could it be that kind of power? The North Demon thought of a possibility, and then his pupils constricted. Impossible? It was impossible for him to comprehend that kind of power so quickly. He was too shocked. He had the 10,000 monster body, and his talent was extremely terrifying, but he still spent more than 100 years to comprehend that kind of power. How could Lin Xian comprehend it in just a few months? However, no matter what, Lin Xian was a peerless enemy. This time, he definitely had the strength to enter the top 5, or even the top 3. Others might not believe it, but the North Demon had to treat it seriously. Descendant of the Great Dragon, let me see just how strong you really are. The North Demon took a deep breath and waited for the final battle. Yu Linglong and Han Fei also came out of seclusion. When they heard the news, they didn't quite believe it. In their opinion, the rumors were exaggerated. Therefore, they didn't pay too much attention to it. Although Lin Xian was strong, he was still not a match for them. It was still uncertain whether or not he could defeat Huangfu Beitian. After Huangfu Beitian came out of seclusion, he was also shocked when he heard the news. When he heard the news about the Black Demon, he also took a deep breath, and a biting cold light burst out of his eyes. Black Demon? He was courting death. His goal this time was not the Black Demon, but to enter the top 3. He had to enter the top 3. The day of the competition was getting closer and closer. There were only 10 days left, and everyone was making their final preparations. In the mountains, there was a courtyard that took up a lot of space. There were birds chirping and flowers fragrant, and it was like a paradise. The entire courtyard was enveloped by a peerless array formation. Lin Xian sat cross-legged in the array formation. The king herbs, divine crystals, and natural treasures in the spirit-gathering array beside him had all dimmed. He had absorbed all the energy in the array formation. Lin Xian had a scroll beside him. Golden light flickered in his eyes, and a terrifying power surged from his body. "Kid, you're awake?" The Crimson Dragon saw Lin Xian stand up and flew over from the other side of the courtyard. Lin Xian stood up and stretched his body. His body made crackling sounds, and his body shone with boundless light that shot into the sky. "What time is it?" he asked. There were still 10 days before the competition. 10 days? It was not too late. Lin Xian nodded. "How's it going outside? Those guys outside have all come out of seclusion, and so has the Black Demon. As soon as he came out, he clamored to challenge you. But at that time, you were in seclusion, so he kept quiet after 2 days." The Black Demon? Lin Xian shook his head slightly. He did not take it seriously. Indeed, he did not take it seriously because no matter what changes the other party had made, he was no longer a match for him. In the past few months, his understanding of Tao had deepened. As for his strength, it was also rapidly increasing. All of this was thanks to the scripture of enlightenment that Zhong Lingxiu gave him. Chapter 3076. This thing might not be of much use in the hands of other invincible kings because they had not reached that level and could not comprehend it. But to Lin Xian, this was simply a heaven-sent opportunity. Lin Xian needed this kind of enlightenment right now. It could be said that this great Tao enlightenment scripture had saved Lin Xian a few hundred years of detours. Because of this great Tao enlightenment scripture, Lin Xian comprehended something that would have taken hundreds of years to comprehend in a few months. Perhaps even Zhong Lingxiu would not have thought of this. The 2 powers that were close to Tao had increased once again. His understanding and application of these 2 powers had become more thorough. Of course, their power had also increased by several times. If he were to fight with the Poison King again, he could defeat him in one move. Because he could make his opponent collapse with just one move, annihilation. This was the power that was close to Tao. Not only that, Lin Xian also combined this power with his sword technique and even combined it with the heavenly secret god, I, and Dragon Sword Soul. The Dragon Sword Soul was magical. Not only could it increase the power of sword chi, but it could also increase the power of all mystiques. The power that was close to Tao was already very strong. If it was combined with the Dragon Sword Soul, its power would be even more terrifying. By using two powers that were close to Tao, Lin Xian could reach 70,000 Archean power. Once combined with the Dragon Sword Soul, it would be even more terrifying. This was definitely a terrifying battle strength that had probably surpassed the North Demon. Of course, Lin Xian was just guessing because he had not seen the North Demon in action. It was just his speculation. Other than the North Demon, Lin Xian did not care about anyone else, let alone the Hey Mo. What would be the reward from the House of Prodigy this time? It would be best if it was related to comprehending the laws of heaven and earth. Now, he was more and more delighted with the laws. He felt that this was true power. Only by mastering this power would he be a true expert. He had to comprehend the laws as soon as possible and reach the sage realm. Next, Lin Xian adjusted his state to keep himself in peak condition so that he could deal with the upcoming competition. Finally, the day had arrived. The outstanding scholar manor was in an uproar. Countless elders of the Heaven sect cheered because this was a golden age for them. They were about to witness the rise of a prodigy. This time, the outstanding scholar manor had opened the ancient battle platform, using the grandest scale to hold this competition. The geniuses of the House of Prodigy had arrived early and were waiting anxiously. Those elders also chuckled as they came to the clouds, sat down cross-legged, and looked down. He wondered how many amazing fellows would soar to the heavens this time. Did you hear that Junwia had a breakthrough again? That's right. This guy's talent was also terrifying. He was second only to the Northern Demon. The first place of each of the four peaks was terrifying. Apart from that, the second and third place of each of the four peaks were terrifying too. Apart from Junwuya, there was also that monstrous genius who was also an incredible figure. Yes, there was also that black demon. It was said that he went to the fallen abyss and came back successfully. After returning, his strength had increased greatly. It seemed that he would be able to shine this time as well. These elders discussed spiritedly, but two of them shook their heads. What I'm looking forward to the most is not these people, but that little fellow called Lin Xian. This little guy was really something. A few months ago, he had defeated the Poison King and displayed a power that was close to the Tao. He wondered what kind of improvement he would get this time. A power that was close to the Tao. Sixth Elder, Seventh Elder, the two of you don't talk nonsense. Although that little kid had started to comprehend the moon-gazing, wordless steel, how long had it been? How could he have comprehended it completely? He probably couldn't even grasp the slightest bit of it. That's right. We might not even be able to control the great Tao of heaven and earth. How could that kid do it? The other elders shook their heads in disbelief. The seventh elder and the sixth elder, who were the two elders who secretly watched Lin Xian's competition, were so angry that their beards were sticking up. I say, are you guys doubting our words? Why? Could it be that the old man was lying? The two elders were extremely agitated. The other elders said, they didn't know if he was lying, but it was possible that he was bragging. You said that the kid had a power that was close to the Tao. That was clearly a joke. How dare you doubt me? Do you dare to make a bet with me? These two elders are very angry at you. What did they mean? Did they not believe them? Or did they not believe Lin Xian? What a joke. They had seen it with their own eyes. Could it be fake? They didn't see it with their own eyes. I won't believe it. The other elders shook their heads. After all, the matter was too shocking. They didn't dare to believe it at all. The two sides gradually quarreled. And at this time, the first elder walked over and said in a deep voice, all right, you guys are already a few thousand years old. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by the people below? Hearing this, the sixth elder and the seventh elder snorted coldly, and the other elders' faces were also ashen. The first elder said with a smile, we will soon know whether that little guy can comprehend the power that is close to the Tao. Why are you quarreling here? Let me see what that kid is capable of. I'll bet with you, sixth elder, seventh elder, When the two of you lose, don't deny it. Many elders sneered. The two elders shouted coldly, "Let's bet with poison. Who's afraid of who?" When the first elder saw the elders behind him quarreling again, he shook his head and ignored them. His gaze scanned the surroundings. He wondered to what extent that little fellow's strength had grown to. He had heard about the previous incident, but he didn't see it with his own eyes, so he didn't believe it completely. Below, the ancient arena was emitting an unparalleled light, and there were countless formations around the arena, which were divided into 5 areas. Each area had clouds formed by formations, floating in the clouds for the elders and disciples to observe. The 4 peaks occupied 4 areas, and the last area was reserved for the main hall of the House of Prodigies. Apart from the 4 peaks, there were other elders and experts in the House of Prodigies. They didn't interfere with the matters of the 4 peaks, but were above the 4 peaks, leading the entire House of Prodigies. It was said that even the House of Prodigies would participate in this event. The geniuses participating in the competition were extremely excited. If they were chosen by the House of Prodigies and were accepted as a disciple, they would soar into the sky. Therefore, everyone wanted to perform well. The elders and genius spectators of the 4 peaks had arrived. The geniuses participating in the competition also arrived, a total of 40 people. They were the top 10 of the 4 peaks. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others from the full moon peak had arrived, each of them emitting a sharp aura. Buzz, a monstrous demonic aura rolled in, turning into a peerless demon king that descended from the sky. A black demonic figure walked out from it. Such a terrifying demonic aura. It's the black demon. His aura was even more terrifying than before. Chapter 3077. This Mo was incredible. He was able to come out of the abyss. This meant that he had become extremely powerful. Everyone looked down at the demon-like figure and exclaimed in surprise. After Mo arrived, he glanced at Yi Fei and the others and snorted coldly. Xueling snorted, and Yi Fei looked solemn. However, when they sensed Mo's aura, they sighed helplessly. The difference was too great. Mo's aura made their hair stand on end. This was only the aura that Mo had released. If he hadn't used his trump card, they wouldn't have been able to resist him. Mo was already so terrifying. They wondered how strong Huangfu Beitian and Lin Xian had become. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others were looking forward to it. "Look, it's Mo Tian." Another exclamation was heard. On the horizon, a man in silver armor flew over. He looked extraordinary, and his aura wasn't any weaker than Mo's. In fact, he was even stronger. Mo Tian ranked second in the Divine Strategy Peak. The moment he appeared, the martial artists on the Divine Strategy Peak screamed and cheered. Mo turned to look at the man in silver armor and snorted coldly. Demonic aura surged from his body, and his eyes were filled with hostility. Mo Tian also looked at Mo, but he soon retracted his gaze and looked to the side. After Mo Tian, a few more figures quickly descended. They were all top prodigies who were participating in the competition. Among them, there was a woman who was very eye-catching. She was dressed in red, and a sea of blood surged around her. She looked like an Azura as she descended from the sky. Her powerful killing intent made the faces of the prodigies turn pale. Who is this beauty? Why does she look so terrifying? Some of the newcomers felt their scalps go numb. Lower your voice. She is Shui Jiyu. She is very violent and will kill you if she doesn't agree with you. Don't let her hear you. She is the second in the exquisite peak. Shui Jiyu. Everyone was shocked. It was said that this woman was very terrifying and cultivated the Tao of slaughter. After Shui Jiyu arrived, she looked at Mo and Mo Tian with a smile on her face. The sea of blood around her rumbled and occupied a large area by itself. Damn it, this woman. Heimo's face was gloomy. Although his body was surging with demonic aura, he felt that the blood in his body was being affected by the sea of blood. Mo Tian frowned as well. He was also affected by the blood sea. With a cold snort, the armor on his body shone even brighter. The three of them stood there. Even though they had yet to make a move, their auras were already clashing with one another. The surrounding geniuses retreated hastily, their faces pale. Damn it, these top-notch experts are too terrifying. That's right, we're no match for him. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others shook their heads and smiled bitterly. Wang! All of a sudden, the starlight in the sky flickered, blocking the terrifying sea of blood. A man descended from the sky. His aura was extraordinary, as if he was a supreme king descending upon the earth. Such a domineering aura. Jun Wuya. It was Jun Wuya, ranked second in the Misty Peak. This man carried with him an unparalleled domineering aura as he forcefully descended, breaking through the sea of blood. Shui Jiyu's eyes erupted with a blood-red light as she stared at this figure. Interesting, I didn't expect your strength to increase so much. I'll have to experience it later. Shui Jianyue spoke, making everyone feel dizzy, as if they couldn't endure this slaughter. However, Jun Wuya wasn't affected at all. He displayed the domineering aura of heaven and earth and stood with his hands behind his back, looking down at the world. The surrounding geniuses on the clouds were all extremely excited. The elders were also excited. These days, the heavenly sects had already started to go against each other. The smell of gunpowder had already filled the air before the battle. When the time comes, the battle would definitely be exciting. Almost everyone was here, except for the top of the four peaks. That's right, Lin Xian wasn't here either. Almost everyone else was here. That's right, more than 30 geniuses had already arrived. They gathered together and discussed, or stood alone. Their auras were awe-inspiring. In short, they were all waiting. Wang, at this moment, a saber light streaked across the sky, and a majestic man descended below. Huangfu Beitian was here. Someone cried out in alarm, and everyone turned to look at the source of the cry. The dancers of the full moon peak screamed. Huangfu Beitian was the top of the full moon peak. They wondered how much his strength had increased this time. Was he here? Black Demon snorted. He clenched his fists. Mo Tian and Shui Jiyue also turned their heads. Only Jun Wuya snorted, but he also glanced to the side. The person who had arrived was Huangfu Beitian. He was wearing a long robe and carrying a saber on his back. There was no expression on his face. After he arrived, his gaze swept across the 30 geniuses. Everyone felt their bodies tense, as if they had been cut by a saber. In the end, his gaze stopped on one person. That person was Jun Wuya. This guy is arrogant. How dare he ignore me? Shui Jiyue raised her blood-red eyebrows slightly, and a cruel smile appeared on her face. Mo Tian didn't say anything, but he also frowned. Black Demon was trembling with anger. Damn it, he was also ignored. Huangfu Beitian, don't be so arrogant. I'll let you know how powerful I am during the battle later. Black Demon was going crazy. I can feel that your 9-layered Thunder Saber has improved again, but you're still not my match. Jun Wuya still stood with his hands behind his back. It's useless to argue. Let's fight on the stage later. Huangfu Beitian said coldly. Next, the geniuses didn't say anything and continued to wait patiently. They were waiting for the remaining 3 geniuses. Soon, Han Fei also arrived. Han Fei wore a purple armor and descended from the sky like a deity. As soon as he arrived, he attracted the attention of countless people. This time, even Jun Wuya couldn't remain calm. His eyes were filled with a domineering aura. Shui Jiyue, Black Demon, Huangfu Beitian, and the others were the same. The surrounding geniuses were excited and screamed. Han Fei was the first in Divine Tactics Peak and the third in Extraordinary Scholar Manor. Han Fei's arrival caused countless people to scream. His gaze swept over everyone in the surroundings and quickly retracted. He didn't even look at Jun Wuya for too long. Buzz. Between heaven and earth, colorful clouds danced, and a peerless woman descended from the sky. Yu Linglong. The crowd screamed, and many of them had red eyes. She's so beautiful. Everyone says that Qin Wu is the first beauty, but I think Yu Linglong is more charming. Lower your voice. How dare you have designs on Yu Linglong? She's second only to the North Demon. Indeed, not only was Yu Linglong beautiful, but she was also extremely powerful. She was the second in extraordinary scholar manner, second only to the North Demon. Yu Linglong's arrival made Han Fei feel like he was facing a great enemy. Yu Linglong was much calmer. She stood there like a fairy, attracting countless gazes. Boom. But not long after, everyone's gaze moved away from her and looked into the distance. That was because someone else had arrived. Chapter 3078. This time, it was a tall and slender man with a face as white as a demon's. He was unbelievably handsome. Northern Goblin, everyone exclaimed, and the elders looked solemn. Northern Goblin was the number one in their extraordinary goblin mansion. He had the 1,000 goblin body and was extremely powerful. Suppressing all the heroes, no one was his match. Northern Goblin looked calm as he walked in the air. Beside him was a girl in green. She was unparalleled in this world. She was his younger sister, Qin Wu. The two of them were as light as a feather, descending like smoke. You're here. Yu Linglong opened her red lips and said in a pleasant voice. Han Fei's eyes were like a purple lamp that burned fiercely. Huangfu Beitian, Jun Wuya, and the others stared at the figure. The person in front of them was like a huge mountain blocking their path and making them look up at him. Northern Goblin looked at the crowd with a smile and nodded slightly. His gaze did not change. His demeanor showed that he didn't care about anyone else at all. Qin Wu, who was beside him, looked around with her big black eyes as if she was looking for someone. That arrogant guy really didn't come. I knew it. There was a cute girl in the crowd. She looked anxious and muttered in a low voice. Why isn't Big Brother Lin Xian here yet? The competition is about to start. That guy hasn't come yet. Northern Goblin looked around and said indifferently. His words attracted everyone's attention. Who hasn't come yet? The first place of the Four Peaks has already arrived. No, there's still one person who hasn't arrived. It's Lin Xian. Lin Xian hasn't arrived yet. There was a sudden clap of thunder, and everyone was in an uproar. They looked around carefully but didn't find Lin Xian's figure. Why hasn't that guy come yet? Could it be that he hasn't come out of seclusion? That guy can't be, right? He'll miss the competition if he doesn't come. Huangfu Baiqian's eyes flickered, and he did not speak. Shui Yuetian also sneered. This guy is really arrogant. He actually dares to come later than Northern Goblin. Jun Wuya also snorted coldly. Han Fei did not speak. Yu Linglong said indifferently. She heard that Lin Gongzi fought with the people of Heavenly Cloud's mansion a few months ago, and it was said that he even defeated the Poison King. I wonder how high his strength is. As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding people were in an uproar and began to discuss spiritedly. Jun Wuya and the others sneered. They did not believe in such a legend. Who was the Poison King? They knew very well that Lin Xian couldn't beat him. What a joke. He Mo's expression was cold. This reckless brat was really courting death. While everyone was discussing and waiting, a red-robed figure appeared in the sky and quickly walked over. Lin Xian was here. Everyone cried out in surprise, and the elders also turned their heads to look. Lin Xian was dressed in red, and his expression was calm. He walked over. There was no light on his body, nor was there any terrifying aura. He was just like an ordinary handsome boy next door. Beside him, the crimson dragon was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. Whoosh! Lin Xian's speed was very fast. Using ground shrink, he arrived at the edge of the stage in a few steps. He fell behind and said with a smile, "I'm not too late, right? Damn brat, you finally came out. I thought you didn't dare to come." Demonic chi exploded from Heimo's body as he stared at the figure in front of him. Duga Jian's eyes were also like sabers as he looked over. At this moment, Yu Linglong, Han Fei, Jun Wuya, Shui Jiue, and the others all looked over. The North Demon also looked over. Countless geniuses' gazes were all focused on Lin Xian. The elders sucked in a breath of cold air. Being the center of attention of so many peak-level geniuses was a huge amount of pressure. Indeed, just this pressure alone was enough to crush an invincible king. Even a powerful invincible king would have to use all his strength to deal with it. However, what puzzled them was that Lin Xian was still expressionless. There was no aura fluctuation coming from his body. Just like that, he treated it calmly. When all the gazes landed on him, they quickly dissipated without a trace. Everyone was shocked. They didn't dare to believe it. They originally wanted to show Lin Xian, who was stronger than them. After all, they were all top geniuses, but Lin Xian had arrived later than the North Demon. He was too arrogant. This made them very unhappy. However, they didn't expect their gazes and pressure to be useless. Deliberately mystifying, Jun Wuya snorted coldly. Yu Linglong frowned. What a mysterious brat. I wonder how strong he is? I can't see through him. Han Fei's eyes flashed with purple light as he frowned. The North Demon kept looking. Lin Xian said with a smile, "What's so special about the moon-gazing, wordless steel? I wonder how much Lin Gongzi has comprehended?" Lin Xian said with a smile, "You will know when the time comes." He wouldn't reveal his trump card in advance. Stop being so cocky. The moon-gazing, wordless steel is so difficult. How can you comprehend it in just a few months? Even if I give you 100 years, you will only be a beginner. You won't be able to comprehend it now. Don't worry, you are definitely not my brother's match. Qing Wu said angrily as she waved her little fists. Is that so? Do you dare to make a bet with me? Lin Xian looked at her and said with a smile. Hearing this, Qing Wu's little face fell. She was very unhappy. Last time, the other party used her as a bet. Although he won in the end, Qing Wu lost many good things. There were several king herbs and mutated divine crystals. Every time Qing Wu thought about it, she would go crazy with anger. Brother, he always bullies me. When I see him later, I will beat him up. She grabbed the North Demon's clothes and said coquettishly, Big brother Lin Xian. In the distance, Shun Jingqiu also ran over and threw herself into Lin Xian's arms. I missed you so much. Aren't I here now? Ling Xian said with a smile. How is your cultivation? How confident are you this time? Don't worry, big brother Lin Xian. Qiu is very confident this time. Everyone was discussing. Above the clouds, the elders took a deep breath because they knew that the competition was about to begin. In the most central area, a group of people walked out. Every one of them was incomparably powerful and carried endless laws. When these people appeared, the wind and clouds changed. The sound of the 8 desolates disappeared, and everyone looked over. Lin Xian also turned his head and took a deep breath. He clenched his fists, and there was a trace of excitement in his eyes. Has the sage come out? These people were the peak masters of the 4 peaks. In addition, there were the top experts of the extraordinary warrior manor, the supreme elders, and even the manor master. These people were the true, peerless experts. The manor master of the extraordinary warrior manor was an old man. His face was white, and he had a sage-like demeanor. There was a mysterious aura around his body. Even the peak masters of the 4 peaks were standing behind him. One could imagine how terrifying the Manor Master's strength was. Behind him were the peak masters of the four peaks. Each of them had divine chains of laws on their bodies. They were incomparably powerful. Around them were a group of elders. There were men and women, old and young. However, without exception, they were all peerless experts. Chapter 3079. The Mansion Master's gaze swept across all directions. Everyone felt their hearts tremble, as if they had been pierced through. However, that feeling quickly disappeared. An old and loud voice sounded from the front. "Since everyone is here, let's begin. Every competition held by the House of Prodigy is to encourage and select geniuses. This time, I hope you will give it your all. If you win, the House of Prodigy will not treat you unfairly. Now, let's begin." Following the Mansion Master's voice, everyone cheered again. The four peak masters looked at each other and flew into the sky. They landed in their respective areas and sat cross-legged on the clouds. The Mansion Master and the elders also sat in the center of the clouds. At that moment, a middle-aged man walked out. He had a high status and was one of the deputy Mansion Masters. This time, he was the host of the competition. As soon as he came up, he announced some rules and rewards. With different rankings, the rewards were also different. It was roughly divided into 3 levels: top 3, top 10, and after the top 10, the rewards for the top 3 were the best. Other than various treasures and resources, they could go to the saint's former residence to comprehend. Once the news was out, those prodigies were extremely excited. At their level, other than increasing their cultivation, they were basically considering to reach the Saint Realm. To reach the Saint Realm, one must first comprehend the heaven and earth. However, the laws of heaven and earth were not that easy to comprehend. Other than some top prodigies who were qualified to comprehend the divine monument, the others did not have much chance. Moreover, even if they had the chance, it would be difficult for them to comprehend at their current level. But now, if they could go to the saint's former residence to comprehend, it would definitely be beneficial for them to comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Therefore, even Lin Xian was excited after hearing that. The reward for the first place was even more tempting. Other than going to the saint's former residence, one could also go to the Cliff of Enlightenment. The Cliff of Enlightenment was a very magical place. It was said that at least 10 saints had comprehended there before. Most importantly, rumors had it that a martial monarch had stayed there for a day before leaving. Even if a great emperor stayed there for a day, its value was far above the saint's former residence. It could be said that the Cliff of Enlightenment was the true holy land of martial arts. Therefore, when they heard about the reward for the first place, everyone was as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Those elders' eyes were also red. God, the House of Prodigy even took out the Cliff of Enlightenment as a reward? That was really generous. From the looks of it, they wanted to increase the speed of entering the ancient starry sky path. The elders discussed spiritedly, while the geniuses screamed excitedly. The eyes of the northern beast, Yu Linglong, Han Fei, Jun Wuya, Huangfu Beitian, and the others widened. Shui Jiyu, Mo Tian Black Demon, and the others were trembling with excitement. Was the Enlightenment Cliff finally going to open? The North Demon's eyes shone with a cold light. He had heard of this place a long time ago, but he never had the chance to go in. He did not expect that this time the Prodigy Manor actually gave out such a reward. This was great. He could finally enter the Cliff of Enlightenment. The North Demon was very confident. In his opinion, although these people were geniuses, none of them could defeat him. In the end, the first place was still his. Yu Linglong and Han Fei's eyes flickered with a cold light. They were already in the 2nd and 3rd year. If they were to try their luck now, they might really be able to get first place. When the time came, he would go to the Enlightenment Cliff to meditate. If he could really comprehend a thing or two, then he would really soar to the heavens. Shui Jiue Motian, and the others knew that they had no hope of getting first place. However, they were extremely interested in the top three. Although they could not go to the Enlightenment Cliff, it would be great if they could go to the sage's old residence. Everyone had confirmed their target. Lin Xiansai was also alarmed. The Enlightenment Cliff, the place where the great emperor once stayed, he was too excited. The sage's old residence had already shocked him. After all, he had gained a lot in the past few months. He naturally knew how precious the sage's remains were. He did not expect that there would be a great emperor's remains. This was 10 times or even 100 times more precious than the sage's remains. He must comprehend it. First place, Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. North Demon, let me see what you're capable of. The rules of the competition were simple. They would draw lots, and the competition would be divided into several rounds. Not everyone would fight. There would be a certain amount of luck involved. Perhaps some who were not the strongest could still make it to the finals. It seemed a little unfair, but it was the fairest. After all, there were many experts in the world. However, only one person could become the great emperor in the end. Other than talent, luck was also very important. In fact, possession was also an important factor. Back then, there was a person who shocked the ancients and dazzled the contemporaries. He was extremely powerful and had reached an unbelievable level. He was most likely to become the great emperor. However, he was born at the wrong time. When he rose, it was when the great emperor had lost 3,000 years. At that time, he could not prove his Tao. In the end, the person who shocked the ancients and dazzled the contemporaries did not become the great emperor. Therefore, luck was also a part of strength. A very important part. The 40 geniuses participating in the competition quickly drew their lots. Those who drew the same number would become opponents and fight in the arena. I'm number 1. Qing Wu exclaimed. What? Qing Wu is number 1. Could it be that she's going to fight? Hearing this, the surrounding elders of the heavenly sect began to discuss. Those young men seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. Was Qing Wu going to take action? She's my goddess. Goddess Qing Wu, you must win. You must make it to the finals. That's for sure. Goddess Qing Wu is the great beauty of our House of Wonders. Moreover, her brother is the North Demon. Qing Wu is very talented and has the power of bloodline. Her strength is definitely not bad. Moreover, no matter who she encounters in the first round, she has to give face to the North Demon. Don't worry, Qing Wu will definitely have no problems in this round. Everyone had the same thought. At the same time, they were very curious about who would be the first person to fight Qing Wu. Qing Wu's small face was excited. Her beautiful big eyes were shining. She could not wait any longer. She went directly to the arena. Hurry up, my opponent. Come on. Everyone lowered their heads. Those who were ranked at the bottom prayed in their hearts that they would not fight Qing Wu. That was because Qing Wu would definitely win this round. Fortunately, the number in their hands was not number 1. Huangfu Beitian, He Mo Junwuya, and the others also looked and found that they were not number 1 either. Just as everyone was checking, a figure walked past them and walked towards the battle platform. This scene directly attracted the attention of the others. Countless eyes looked at the figure. What? It's him! Many people screamed. Chapter 3080. He Mo snorted and sneered. Shui Jiyu narrowed her eyes. Interesting. This is going to be fun. Damn you, why is it you? No, this draw doesn't count. We have to do it again. On the stage, Qing Wu was originally very happy. However, when she saw her opponent, her little face fell, and she was about to cry. Heavens, why is it him? Is my luck that bad? Lin Xian, you bastard. Hurry up and get back to where you came from. Qing Wu stomped her feet in anger. That's right, her first opponent was Lin Xian. To be honest, Lin Xian was also surprised. He didn't expect that he would have to fight with this little girl in the first round. He shook his head and didn't care. Instead, he walked onto the stage. The others were excited. It's Lin Xian. The first round is actually him. This is going to be fun. Do you think Lin Xian will go easy on him in the first round? Give the North Demon some face? When the time came for him to fight the North Demon might go easy on him. It's possible. Not only Lin Xian, almost everyone had to give the North Demon some face. After all, he was the #1 in the House of Prodigy. Who would dare to disobey? However, Qingwu didn't think so, because she felt that this guy would definitely not give her face. She knew Lin Xian very well. Sure enough, Lin Xian said, "I don't want to hurt you. Why don't you take the initiative to admit defeat?" When those words were said, everyone was in an uproar. The corners of the elders' mouths twitched. Oh my heavens, what did I just hear? Lin Xian actually wants Qingwu to admit defeat. He doesn't plan to give the North Demon some face. He's going to cause trouble. Is he provoking the North Demon? Exclamations sounded one after another. The people of the Full Moon Peak were extremely nervous. When Yu Linglong saw this scene, she glanced at the North Demon and laughed softly. Looks like someone doesn't want to give you face. What's this kid doing? He's courting death. Mo Tian also frowned. The North Demon was incomparably calm. All of this was within his expectations. Lin Xian was no ordinary prodigy. He was a top prodigy who had comprehended the Moongazer steel and was the successor of the Great Dragon. Such peerless geniuses all had their own pride. How could they take the initiative to go easy on him? However, he was not worried. He was still very confident in his sister. It would not be easy for Lin Xian to win against his sister. You brat, you're so arrogant. You want me to admit defeat? No way. In the arena, Qing Wuqi's face was ice cold. This despicable fellow, she really wanted to go up and bite him. You are no match for me. Lin Xian shook his head. It was indeed so. A few months ago, he could easily defeat Qingwu. Not to mention now, his strength had greatly improved. Qingwu shouted, "Boy, don't underestimate me. My current strength is much stronger than it was a few months ago. Today, I'll let you experience it." Wang, Qingwu's temperament also changed. 2 lightning-like rays of light shot out from her beautiful eyes, shattering the surrounding sky. The aura on her body became terrifying. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. They knew that this beautiful girl was not simple. She was a true prodigy. Whoosh! Qingwu's figure changed, and her speed was unbelievably fast. She quickly rushed toward Lin Xian. A short sword appeared in her hand. It was as red as blood, and she slashed down in the air. A bloody light burst out, bringing with it a powerful aura, shattering the void. In an instant, thousands of sword lights were slashed out. They were densely packed, forming a sea of sword qi. However, Qing Wu's little face was incomparably cold. She did not relax at all. That was because Lin Xian's speed was even faster. His figure wandered in the sky full of sword qi, as if he was taking a stroll. Not a single sword qi hit him. Damn guy, what's the point of dodging? Attack if you have the ability. Qing Wu snorted, and the aura in her hand became even sharper. Lin Xian sighed. All right, then I won't be polite. Speaking of this, the aura on his body also changed. The originally fluctuating void was even more shattered. He was like a celestial demon. His eyes emitted a piercing light, and runes appeared in his hand one after another. Seal. With a low shout, Lin Xian waved his arm. The runes in the sky intertwined to form a formation, and directly shrouded Qing Wu. Buzz. Qing Wu was fixed in midair. She could not exert any strength, as if she was frozen. Damn guy, what did you do to me? Qing Wu screamed. Lin Xian did not say a word. With a smile, he walked forward. Then he gently picked up Qing Wu and walked to a place further away. This scene made everyone exclaim. Many prodigies even screamed. Damn guy, let go of Qing Wu. Let go of our goddess. How dare you blaspheme our goddess? I'll fight you to the death. There was no choice. Qing Wu was the goddess in the hearts of these prodigies. She was the lover of their dreams, but she was carried away by someone. How could they tolerate this? Even Mo Tian and the rest frowned. Junhua even shouted coldly. His eyes emitted a piercing light. You're courting death. He was also pursuing Qing Wu, but he had not succeeded. However, Junhua thought that in the entire extraordinary warrior mansion, except for Northern Yao, he did not care about anyone else. Northern Yao was Qing Wu's brother, so he would not compete with him. In other words, Qing Wu would choose him if she had a choice. But now, Qing Wu was being carried by another man. Junhua could not tolerate this. Even Northern Yao frowned slightly with a look of surprise. Then he shook his head. He already knew what Lin Xian wanted to do. However, he was surprised. Did Qing Wu have no strength to resist? Qing Wu naturally knew this. She screamed, "Damn guy, let go of me. I want to fight you to the death." It's useless. You can't beat me. Seeing that we fought side by side against the Heavenly Clouds mansion a few months ago, I won't hurt you. Lin Xian said as he walked toward the arena. He wanted to throw Qing Wu out of the arena. This way, he could win the competition without hurting Qing Wu. Qing Wu was naturally unwilling. She did not get along with Lin Xian. Now that she was being carried by him, she wanted to die. As a proud princess, when had she ever been close to other men? Not to mention being carried in public. Break! Qing Wu shouted coldly. She used her bloodline power and broke the seal with a powerful force. However, she found that she could not use her bloodline power at all. She could only watch helplessly. Not long after, Lin Xian came to the edge of the arena and gently put Qing Wu down. Then he turned his head to look at the referee elder in the sky and asked in a deep voice, "Elder, can you announce the result?" The referee elder in the sky was also stunned. To be honest, he had lived for so many years, but he had never seen such a competition. However, as an old monster who had lived for thousands of years, he quickly recovered and said loudly, "The winner of the first round is Lin Xian of the Full Moon Peak." Chapter 3081. Lin Xian won the first round and got off to a good start. Logically speaking, the people of Full Moon Peak should be excited. However, those geniuses of Full Moon Peak had very strange expressions. Many of their faces even darkened. Although Lin Xian is our Full Moon Peak's genius, why do I want to beat him up so much? Me too. How dare he treat my goddess Qing Wu like this? I won't let him off. If Full Moon Peak was like this, the other peaks were even more so. Especially the people of Ethereal Peak, they were about to go crazy. Murderous aura soared into the sky. Countless gazes turned into rainbows, staring at Lin Xian. "Damn kid, I'll kill you. I'll definitely kill you. Fight me if you have the ability." Countless roars turned into thunder, shattering the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Lin Xian didn't care at all because these people weren't his match. They didn't even have the qualifications to enter the arena. However, in the next moment, he frowned. He noticed that there were a few cold gazes in the surrounding crowd. One of them was even more terrifying, as if it had turned into the domineering aura of heaven and earth surging towards him. Lin Xian felt this domineering aura and turned his head. Their gazes collided in the air. "Junhua?" He frowned slightly. Although he hadn't seen him before, he had heard of him before. Junhua cultivated the domineering aura of heaven and earth and walked the path of an earth sovereign. This guy should be a prince of the Divine Wind Empire. He also knew a little about Junhua's origin. Of course, Junhua wasn't a prince of this generation. Otherwise, Lin Xian would have known him long ago. He should be a prince from a few hundred years ago. "Kid, I won't let you off. You'd better pray that you don't meet me. Otherwise, I'll make you regret everything you've done today. Jun Wuya's voice was cold, as if he was the king of the mortal world, able to judge everything. Lin Xian shrugged indifferently. He was ready to learn. After saying this, he walked down the arena. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the rest looked at Lin Xian with strange gazes. Only Shen Jingqiu smiled and said, "Brother Lin Xian is so gentle." Gentle? Everyone was dumbfounded by Shen Jingqiu's words. The first match ended just like that. But soon, the second and third matches began one after another. Everyone stepped onto the stage and displayed their formidable strength. Lin Xian was also watching from the side. It had to be said that these few months of hard work had allowed the strength of these geniuses to improve by leaps and bounds. Many of them had become even stronger than before. The Northern Goblin went up. Amidst a series of exclamations, the Northern Goblin walked forward. His opponent, however, had a gloomy look on his face. He was a genius from the Divine Strategy Peak and was ranked 5th on the Divine Strategy Peak. However, he was no match for the North Demon. Therefore, when he stepped into the arena, he shook his head and said, "I admit defeat." The speed at which this match ended was even faster than Lin Xian and Qing Wu. Did he admit defeat? Everyone looked as if they already knew. After all, apart from Yu Linglong, Han Fei, and a few others who could contend against the North Demon, the others were simply no match for him. Admitting defeat was a very normal thing. Han Fei shook his head. His opponent was too weak. He couldn't tell how strong the Northern Demon was. Perhaps only the top 5 geniuses could make the Northern Demon take them seriously. Yu Linglong, who was standing at the side, also sighed. Soon, they all stepped onto the stage. Yu Linglong and Han Fei were also incomparably powerful. They killed their opponents in one move. Jun Wuya and Huang Fubeitian also killed their opponents in one move. This caused everyone to exclaim in surprise. As expected of the top 5 geniuses, they were simply too powerful. The top 3 would most likely emerge from these 5 geniuses. Boom, boom, boom. On the arena, a demon-like person walked up. His demonic aura was monstrous and enveloped the entire area. It was the Black Demon. His opponent was also extremely extraordinary. He was the 3rd-ranked genius of the Divine Strategy Peak, Cui Shi. When the two of them entered the arena, countless people exclaimed in surprise. Both of them were super experts. It would definitely be a fierce battle for them to meet in advance. Everyone became excited. However, the outcome of the battle was beyond everyone's expectations. 10 moves, only 10 moves. The Black Demon defeated Cui Shi in just 10 moves. Everyone was shocked. The elders were also surprised. This Black Demon was incredible. His strength had increased so quickly. That's right. Last time, Cui Shi's ranking was similar to his. Even if the two of them were to fight, it would take a few hundred moves. Who would have thought that the Black Demon would win in just 10 moves? This guy must have encountered an incredible fortuitous encounter when he fell into the abyss. What an interesting guy. No wonder he was so arrogant. Shui Gus sneered. Mo Tian's expression was solemn. On the other side, a girl named Chu Ling's eyes flickered. She was the 3rd-ranked genius of the Ethereal Peak. The 3 of them felt the threat from the Black Demon. Han Fei, Jun Wuya, Yu Linglong, and the rest did not care. Although the Black Demon was strong, they did not put him in their eyes. After defeating his opponent, the Black Demon stopped Lin Xian and Huang Fubeitian, who were below the arena. He sneered, "Brat, just you wait. I will let you know how powerful I am. This time, I will trample you under my feet. You are no match for me." Lin Xian shook his head slightly. He did not care. This scene made the Black Demon vomit blood. "Don't be so arrogant. I will let you know how powerful I am." He walked down the arena with a cold face. After that, Shui Jie, Mo Tian, and the rest also displayed their powerful strength. They were not weaker than the Black Demon. Among them, there were two people who surprised everyone. Just like Lin Xian, the two of them were newcomers, and both of them were peerless beauties. One of them was Shun Jingqiu. Shun Jingqiu was now at Linglong Peak. She had also participated in this competition. Her strength had increased very quickly. The purple aura around her body was very hazy and mysterious. She defeated her opponent, causing countless people to exclaim in surprise. The elders were also surprised. If I remember correctly, this little girl should be a spiritual body, right? Not bad. No wonder her strength increased so quickly. She has reached the peak, right? The Grand Elder was also surprised. When everyone sensed Shun Jingqiu's cultivation, they were all stunned. 9-star peak. This level of cultivation was simply too shocking. One had to know that the North Demon, Han Fei, and the others were only at the peak of the 9-star peak. They were still a distance away from the peak. However, Shun Jingqiu had reached the peak of the 9-star peak. Moreover, she was so young. Lin Xian was also surprised. He had not checked it before. Now that he saw it, he was extremely surprised. He was only at the mid-stage of the 9-star peak, but Shun Jingqiu's cultivation had far surpassed his. Beside him, the Crimson Dragon said, "Brat, don't be surprised. The characteristic of a spiritual body is that it cultivates quickly. Previously, this little girl's cultivation had always been ahead of the other prodigies. It could be said that she was the first batch to become a 9-star king. Now that she has reached the peak of the 9-star peak, it is very normal." The others were amazed and envious. Although cultivation was not the final factor that determined a person's strength, it was the most important factor. The higher one's cultivation was, the more powerful one would be. Chapter 3082. Of course, that might not be the case. After all, secret techniques, divine abilities, bloodlines, fortuitous encounters, cultivation techniques, weapons, and so on could all affect one's final combat strength. Otherwise, Lin Xian and the others wouldn't have been able to kill a 9-star king when they were only 8-star kings. Therefore, although Shun Jingqiu was now a perfected 9-star king, she was still no match for the North Demon. However, that might not be the case in the future. If Shun Jingqiu broke through to half-saint or saint in advance, she would be able to crush these prodigies with the suppression of her cultivation realm. At the thought of this, everyone felt their scalps go numb. They didn't expect Shun Jingqiu to have such terrifying potential. The eyes of the 4 peak masters flickered. The supreme elders were also discussing in low voices. Even the mansion master was a little interested. It was indeed a golden age. The divine 9-yang body, myriad demon body, and spirit body had all appeared. They wondered if this little girl would be able to meet someone from the spirit tribe in the future. If she could, her achievements would be limitless. Perhaps she could obtain that item. At this point, the old mansion master's eyes flashed with an illusory star. Apart from Shun Jingqiu, there was another young woman who attracted everyone's attention. Even Lin Xian was paying close attention. The woman in the arena was called Zhong Lingxiu. She was a newcomer of the Moon Gaze Peak. Zhong Lingxiu was dressed in plain clothes. Beside her was a green lotus that swayed gently. The violent power made her opponent vomit blood. This woman was so mysterious. They couldn't see through her. Han Fei frowned. Yu Linglong also nodded. Interesting. It was getting more and more interesting. The North Demon's eyes were also solemn, as if he wanted to see through everything. The elders were also surprised. Could the green lotus be related to that item? They thought of a possibility, but they soon shook their heads. The 4 peak masters were also shocked. The Moon Gaze Peak Master was especially happy. He didn't expect there to be such a prodigy apart from Lin Xian. In the past, Zhong Lingxiu was only ranked 10th. Although she was stunning, Lin Xian was ahead of her. Moreover, she didn't have the chance to comprehend the moon gaze wordless steel. Therefore, although everyone was shocked, they soon forgot about it. But now, Zhong Lingxiu had once again displayed her powerful strength, directly attracting everyone's attention. Mansion Master, is the green lotus related to that item? Related to that person? A grand elder asked from the side. The mansion lord's eyes flickered, and he shook his head slightly. That didn't seem to be the case. However, he remembered that it was something else. If that was the case, then the ancient path of the starry sky would be really interesting. At that time, it would definitely be very exciting. Hearing the Valley Master's words, the surrounding Grand Elders were all astonished. What could be praised by the Valley Master like this? Could it be even more terrifying than the Dragon Sword Soul, the spiritual body, the holy body, and the infinite demon body? One had to know that these physiques were all famous, peerless physiques in the ancient times. Once they were mastered, they could sweep through the world and shock the world. If it really was her, then she would definitely pose a threat to Lin Xian, the North Demon, and the others. Perhaps in the future, he would be able to suppress Lin Xian, the Northern Demon, and the others. Even the top experts and geniuses on the ancient path of stars who had passed many trials would have a headache, let alone these young fellows. In fact, they might even be overtaken by the geniuses. The Mansion Lord's words shocked everyone. Many of the Grand Elders could not believe that Zhong Lingxiu had such potential. The intense battles made everyone's blood boil. Lin Xian fought a few times and entered the finals. Shun Jingxiu, Zhong Lingxiu, He Mo, and the others also entered the finals. The top geniuses of the Four Peaks also entered the finals. After that, everyone became even more excited. Although the first few rounds were exciting, the top geniuses like the North Demon and Yu Linglong did not use their full strength at all. They usually defeated their opponents with a single move. It was not enough for them to watch. In the finals, the top geniuses would also fight. At that time, it would be a truly exciting battle. The finals were still drawn. Lin Xian still drew lot number 1. First up, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and came to the arena. I wonder who my opponent is? Kid, I didn't expect it to be you. The heavens are really helping me. How dare you bully Qingwu? I'll teach you a good lesson later. A majestic voice sounded. Then, a domineering figure walked up. Junwei. The first battle was between Lin Xian and Junwei. The surrounding people screamed like crazy. Even many of the Grand Elders stood up, their faces filled with excitement. Although they knew that the finals would be exciting, they did not expect it to be so intense. Right off the bat, the two top geniuses were exchanging blows with one another. Lin Xian, second place of the moon-gazing peak, comprehended the moon, gazing wordless steel. He was a once-in-10,000 years genius. Junwei was equally terrifying. He was ranked 4th in the House of Prodigy. He was ranked higher than Huangfu Beitian. His domineering aura was terrifying. Recently, it was said that he had a new breakthrough while comprehending the ethereal steel. They were the top geniuses. Everyone was looking forward to the battle between the two geniuses. Even the peak masters of the Four Peaks and the supreme elders were looking forward to it. Were they going to fight in advance? They wanted to see what this kid was capable of. The North Demon's eyes flashed. Previously, he was also a little angry about Qing Wu's matter. However, compared to anger, he was more shocked. He knew Qing Wu's strength very well. However, he found it unbelievable that Lin Xian could seal Qing Wu so easily. In the previous rounds, Lin Xian defeated his opponents easily. He did not show his true strength, so the Northern Demon could not see it clearly. However, now that he was fighting Junwei, he should be able to see his full strength. Let me see just how much strength you, the descendant of the great dragon, have. The Northern Demon was looking forward to it. Yu Linglong, Han Fei, and the others were also watching with rapt attention. What? You want to stand up for Qing Wu? Let's see if you have the ability. Lin Xian was not afraid. He knew that his opponent was ranked 4th and was very strong. So what? He was not afraid of him. Good kid, you are arrogant enough. Try taking my fist. Jun Wuya shouted angrily and waved his fist. His body surged with a domineering aura. Sky Tyrant Fist. It seemed that Jun Wuya was really angry. He immediately used the Sky Tyrant Fist. This was a half-step Saint martial art. Its strength was terrifying. Indeed, the moment the Sky Tyrant Fist appeared, lightning fell between heaven and earth. Everyone's body trembled. Fortunately, at that moment, they were inside the formation and watching from the clouds. Otherwise, just the aftermath of the energy would be enough to injure them. Sky Tyrant Fist? Half-step Saint martial art. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He waved his hand, and the fire Qilin sword appeared in the sky. He held it and slashed it down. Chapter 3083. Between heaven and earth, a sword light flashed, splitting apart all the lightning and destroying the terrifying fist. The domineering aura was strong, but it wasn't powerful enough. Lin Xian commented indifferently. How arrogant! How can you understand my fist technique? Sky Tyrant Fist's second move. Jun Wuya's face sank as he attacked again. One had to admit that Jun Wuya was extremely terrifying. His strength had already reached the late-stage 9-star King Realm. Coupled with his half-saint martial arts, it was terrifying to the extreme. In the entire extraordinary warrior manner, there were probably only a few people who could defeat him. The monstrous power engulfed Lin Xian. Countless people exclaimed. The martial artists of the Full Moon Peak were extremely nervous. Jun Wuya was indeed extraordinary. He had reached such a level with the Sky Tyrant Fist. That's right. This domineering aura could make one's soul tremble before the battle even started. Without exchanging blows, his aura had already overwhelmed the enemy. Although Lin Xian had destroyed the first move of the Sky Tyrant Fist, the second move and the next few moves would be difficult to deal with. Not necessarily. This kid's strength was pretty good. He must have a trump card. Everyone was discussing. In front of them, among the energy in the sky, a golden light flashed and turned into a golden thunderbolt, destroying heaven and earth. Puff, puff, puff. Sword Qi formed a golden lotus that bloomed in the sky, breaking the energy in the sky. I've said it before. It's not powerful enough. Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. With a swing of his sword, the sword lotus in the sky quickly expanded and turned into a huge mountain that shrouded the ground. Thousands of sword Qi smashed down, piercing through the void and forming a sword rain that completely enveloped Jun Wuya. Get lost! Jun Wuya opened the sky with both hands like a peerless overlord, wanting to tear the sword lotus in the sky apart. Boom, boom, boom. His palm was like the palm of a god. In an instant, he grabbed the terrifying sword lotus and pulled it with force. The sword lotus shook violently, but the sword Qi that fell down was even more terrifying. Clang, clang, clang. The sword Qi in the sky crashed down. Jun Wuya's domineering aura formed a battle armor that enveloped him. The sword Qi collided with the battle armor, creating a shocking sound. It's useless. You can't break my domineering aura. Jun Wuya was very confident, but soon he frowned, and his expression turned ugly. The sword lotus had completely bloomed, and the power of the sword Qi had increased exponentially. Cracks had appeared on his domineering battle armor, and it had shattered with a loud bang. Whoosh! In the face of such a terrifying sword Qi, Jun Wuya took half a step back and tilted his body, wanting to dodge. However, this sword strike had still managed to cut off a strand of his black hair. In fact, there was even a sword scar on his face. Jun Wuya was injured. Countless people screamed in disbelief. Jun Wuya's body was trembling, and his eyes were burning with rage. "How dare you injure me? You have committed a heinous crime. I will let you know my true strength." With a shout, Jun Wuya's aura became terrifying. Sovereign's descent. Surrender. The divine light in his eyes shone brightly, enveloping the entire world. His voice was loud and clear, like the roar of a gigantic spirit god. All the geniuses in the surroundings trembled. Even the faces of the elders changed. Then, a terrifying light gushed out from their bodies. As for those geniuses, they shrieked, "Damn it! Why can't I resist the urge to kneel down and kowtow to him? Even my soul is trembling. What kind of cultivation technique is this? Why is it so strange?" The expressions of the people around the arena changed drastically. Their bodies trembled, and they couldn't help but want to kneel down and kowtow. Many people bit the tip of their tongues and frantically retreated. Even Yu Linglong and Han Fei were shocked. The only one who could still be considered calm was the Northern Devil. As expected, this kid had made new progress in comprehending the Great Tao. The Northern Devil smiled. He's already using this power at this time? It seems that Jun Wuya wants to end the battle. Yu Linglong and Han Fei's eyes flickered, and their expressions were solemn. When the others heard this, their expressions changed drastically. The path of dominance? That was Jun Wuya's trump card. If he used it so quickly, would Lin Xian be able to resist it? There were 3,000 great daos and countless laws. The path of dominance was one of them. Once the path of dominance was used, it was like a supreme king. Everyone would bow down to him. They wouldn't dare to resist. Although Jun Wuya hadn't truly comprehended the Great Tao, his power far exceeded the power of ordinary runes. Therefore, at this moment, under his power, these geniuses all trembled. Lin Xian was the first to be affected. He felt a force pressing down on him, wanting to make him submit to the person in front of him. That force was too powerful. It was like a god's hand pressing down on his body. Is this the power that's close to the Tao? Lin Xian's eyes shone with golden light. He also had this kind of power, but he had never felt it before. Now that he felt the other party's domineering power, he was incomparably excited. Submit. Another cold shout. Countless people's souls trembled, and their eyelids twitched. Lin Xian's side was also under greater pressure. The power that was close to the Tao was too mysterious and too powerful. Jiu Yang's body emitted millions of rays of light, but he also trembled slightly. This wasn't a direct attack, but a different kind of submission. It was a supreme will that directly affected the soul. It's over. Lin Xian is in danger. Yes, this was a power that was close to the Tao. In the entire elite scholar manor, there were no more than 5 young people who had this kind of power. Jun Wuya was one of them. Under this kind of power that was close to the Tao, no one could resist, unless Lin Xian also displayed that kind of power. Impossible. Although Jun Wuya was a young genius, he was also a few hundred years old. He had been comprehending the ethereal heavenly steel for a long time, and only then did he comprehend that trace of domineering Tao, and obtain this kind of power that was close to the Tao. Although Lin Xian had also comprehended the full moon wordless steel, it had only been a few months. It was impossible for him to succeed. Yes, I heard that he used a power that was close to the Tao to defeat the Poison King, but I didn't believe it at all. Everyone was discussing intensely, and the elders were also nervous. On the full moon peak's side, the great elder's eyes flickered. If you have a power that's close to the Tao, hurry up and use it, he urged in his heart. On the stage, Jun Wuya's divine light shone brightly. He stood with his hands behind his back, like a supreme king overlooking everything. Lin Xian's body emitted golden light, like a sun war god, but he trembled slightly, as if he would be defeated at any time. This scene caused countless people to be shocked. However, suddenly, Lin Xian's gaze changed. It became sharper and more determined. A loud voice sounded from his mouth. I, Lin Xian, will not bow to the heavens, nor kneel to the earth. I will only respect myself. Accompanying this voice, the dragon roared in his body. His eyes shone brightly, and his body stopped trembling. Rays of sword chi rushed out from his body, turning into a giant dragon that rushed to the 9 heavens. Boom, boom, boom. Heaven and earth were torn apart, and the wind whistled. Everyone exclaimed, and the elders also stood up, shocked. He actually blocked it. Chapter 3084. Impossible! How can he block such a power that's close to the Tao? He didn't submit. These people were all stunned, especially the elders of the ethereal peak. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. Almost no one is a match for a power that's close to the Tao. How did that kid block it? No matter how powerful his sword technique is, it's impossible. Is that the power of the dragon sword soul? Jun Wuya was also stunned. His expression became extremely ugly, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. That kid didn't kneel down, and submit to me is really beyond my expectations. Dragon sword soul? He gritted his teeth and snorted. Although the dragon sword soul was powerful, it was still inferior to the power that was close to the Tao. Only the Tao is eternal between heaven and earth. If the ruler wants the subject to die, the subject must die. Jun Wuya shouted again. Boom. Countless runes rolled on his body, and his domineering aura covered the entire world. For a moment, everyone trembled again. Many people screamed, "Damn it, what's going on? Why do I want to draw my sword and kill myself? Block it!" Clang! Some people couldn't help but draw their weapons. In the next moment, they threw away their weapons in horror and retreated crazily. Seeing this scene, the elders once again set up the array formation and completely enveloped the disciples who didn't participate in the battle. Between heaven and earth, only Lin Xian and Jun Wuya were not enveloped by the array formation. It's too terrifying. How can this be? Wang Ji's body trembled. He looked at the long sword on the ground with a face full of horror. At that moment, he had drawn his sword and wanted to stab his own heart. The power of the Tao. That's the power of the Tao. There was also a flying dagger at Yifei's fingertips, and it was very close to his neck. Moreover, he was swept by the aftermath of the power. One could imagine how terrifying the impact would be for Lin Xian, since he was the first to bear the brunt of it. That was the power that was close to the Tao. It was extremely terrifying. Everyone was terrified and envious. If the power that was close to the Tao was already so terrifying, how powerful would the laws of the Great Path be? If the saints wanted to kill them, they could turn countless invincible kings into ashes with a single sentence. Everyone below the saints were ants. Jun Wuya wasn't a saint, not even a half-saint. However, he had grasped a power that was close to the Tao. He was completely superior to those invincible kings. Buzz. Under this force, Lin Xian's hands trembled slightly. He raised the blazing Qilin sword in his hand, wanting to stab himself. Lin Xian's powers and his eyes shone brightly. Can affect me? It's a power that's close to the Tao. Lin Xian took a deep breath. The great dragon sword soul within his body roared wildly as a surge of power surged into his hand. Instantly, his hand stopped trembling and became as steady as a rock. His hand was steady. T can't be. Everyone, June can't believe it. Damn it, how did he do it? Black Demon's eyes widened, and his face was filled with shock. He knew that he was no match for Jun Wuya. However, Lin Xian blocked it, and it looked like it was effortless. He couldn't believe it. Huangfu Beitian was shocked as well. Even Yu Linglong and Han Fei's eyes were wide open. The North monster's eyes flickered. Looks like he's comprehended a power that's close to the Tao. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to block Jun Wuya's attack. This guy is indeed an opponent worth looking forward to. Buzz. Lin Xian stabilized his hand and slashed with his sword. A huge crack appeared in the sky, spreading rapidly as it charged forward. Jun Wuya's pupils shrank. His figure flashed, and he dodged the sword. Damn it, you're not affected. How is that possible? Jun Wuya was the most shocked. Did his domineering Tao lose its effect? That was impossible. Previously, when he faced the peak invincible kings, he used his domineering Tao. Those invincible kings had to kneel before him and commit suicide. No one could resist him. But now, both of his attacks were ineffective. Who could tell him? What's going on? Lin Xian's expression was cold. A power that's close to the Tao, that's powerful. However, that's all there is to your domineering Tao. Next, I'll show you my power that's close to the Tao. What? What did he say? He has a power that's close to the Tao. That's impossible. The crowd screamed crazily. The elders trembled. Could it be that this kid has really comprehended a power that's close to the Tao? It's only been a few months. Is he going to defy the heavens? The crowd went crazy. At that moment, even the peak masters and grand elders' expressions changed. Their eyes flickered as they stared at Lin Xian. They wanted to see if Lin Xian was putting on an act, or did he really have such power? On the stage, Jun Wuya was stunned. Then he burst into laughter. Kid, what did you say? You have a power that's close to the Tao. What a joke. His face was full of disdain, as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He admitted that the other party was able to get the recognition of the Moongazer stele. His talent was heaven-defying. But so what? It's only been a few months since he got the Moongazer stele. What can he do in these few months? As for me, I've been in extraordinary scholar manner for more than 100 years. Since 100 years ago, I began to comprehend the ethereal stele. It was only in the recent 10 years that I succeeded in comprehending a trace of power, obtaining a power that's close to the Tao. Just like that, I'm already a peerless genius, ranked fourth in the entire extraordinary scholar manner. How can a newcomer compete with me? I don't believe that he has such power. You don't believe it? Don't worry, I'll let you see it. Lin Xian raised his finger and pointed forward. Annihilation. Is he going to make a move? Everyone was nervous. The elders were also watching nervously. Jun Wuya was stunned. He was on high alert. Lin Xian had the sword qi of the great dragon sword spirit. It was terrifying. He was afraid that the other party would use some sharp sword technique. Hence, he was prepared. But in the next moment, he was stunned. There was no terrifying sword qi rushing out from the other party. What's going on? Is it a bluff? Kid, you're really funny. Do you think that I, Jun Wuya, am scared? Jun Wuya snorted in disdain. He took a step forward and was about to attack. He didn't believe that the other party could grasp such power. Buzz. Suddenly, his entire right arm turned into ashes and no longer existed. Jun Wuya let out a blood-curdling scream as he spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards. His right arm quickly disappeared, vanishing into thin air. How is this possible? Jun Wuya was dumbfounded. He half knelt on the ground and covered his wound. Not only him, but everyone else was also stunned. Chapter 3085. Heavens, what happened? Who can explain it? Those geniuses widened their eyes, as if they had seen a ghost. Those elders were also trembling. The great elder stood up, the peak master sucked in a breath of cold air, and even the mansion master's eyes were shining brightly, illuminating the entire world. A power that was close to the Tao. Damn it. How could this kid have such power? Impossible. He had only comprehended it for a few months. Could it be that he was already so heaven-defying? Is this kid still human? These people were all crazy. The black demon's body trembled, and his face twisted. He roared crazily. Damn it. How could he have comprehended it? I don't believe it. How could he have comprehended a power that was close to the Tao? Huangfu Beitian was also stunned. Yu Linglong, Han Fei, and the others screamed. The North Demon's eyes flickered. It appeared, this power really appeared. He had mastered this power, and it seemed to be a very domineering and destructive power. Lin Xian's move shocked everyone in the Mansion Master. Countless people were terrified. On the arena, Jun Weia also came back to his senses. He screamed crazily, I don't believe it. How did you comprehend it? He had gone crazy. It took him 100 years to comprehend it, but the other party comprehended it in a few months? How could the gap be so big? He had never heard of it before. Even Yi Gu Cheng wasn't so terrifying back then. Seeing Jun Weia roaring crazily and no longer having the domineering aura of a king, Lin Xian sneered. Don't use your ant-like vision to understand me. I'm not an existence that you can understand. As he spoke, he waved the long sword in his hand again and swept it out. Annihilation of the sword. The blade drew an arc, and an incomparably terrifying power was used. Everywhere it passed, everything turned into ashes. Nothing could resist it. This was a power that was close to the Tao, a power that Lin Xian had comprehended. Jun Wuya's body swayed, and he threw out a few sky tyrant fists, but they all turned into ashes. At the next moment, he came to the other side. The king's order, disappear. Now, Jun Wuya had no choice but to use his domineering Tao to resist. This domineering Tao was extremely terrifying. He was like a supreme king commanding everyone and everything. For example, making people kneel or making people commit suicide. Now, he wasn't targeting Lin Xian. Instead, he was targeting the destructive power and making it disappear. In the sky, the strange sword chi indeed stopped. Its light dimmed, and its power weakened, as if it was about to disappear. This was the power of the Tao of dominance. However, the domineering Tao wasn't having it easy either. Under the power of annihilation, it was disappearing slowly as well. Two powers that were close to the Tao collided in the sky. In an instant, the surrounding void collapsed and was annihilated, turning into countless large black holes. It was soundless, but it was more terrifying than a myriad of divine abilities. Everyone knew that right now. Even if a king at the perfect level stood there, he would be instantly killed, unable to escape at all. You really do possess a power that is close to the Tao. Jun Weia was too shocked. With this kind of power, one would have the qualifications to stand at the peak of the extraordinary warrior mansion. The other party was a very powerful enemy. But so what? Jun Weia smiled. I admit that you are very strong and your talent is heaven-defying. I have never seen anyone who could comprehend this kind of power so quickly, but it's a pity that you still met me. Jun Wuya's body emitted a terrifying aura, and his eyes became brighter and brighter. If it was me a few months ago, I might not have been your match. Unfortunately, in these few months, I have a breakthrough in my comprehension of heaven and earth. My control of the Tao of dominance has improved again. So, you are not my opponent at all. Next, I will let you see my true strength. Sovereign descends. As he spoke, the power of the Tao of dominance in front of him became stronger again. It was as if a heavenly emperor had been resurrected, looking down on the world. At this moment, everyone felt that they were insignificant and would be crushed at any time. It's over. Lin Xian is in danger. Yes, they didn't expect Jun Wuya to be hiding his strength. This kind of power that is close to the Tao is too terrifying. It has already surpassed Lin Xian. Unless Lin Xian had other trump cards, he couldn't win at all. What other trump cards could he have? Being close to the Tao was already his greatest trump card. Everyone shook their heads. Although Lin Xian was monstrously strong, he was probably going to lose this time. Has his strength increased again? Seeing that the sword chi he sent out was slowly disappearing, and the emperor figure was getting stronger and stronger, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. True strength? Well, I will let you see it. With a low roar, the great dragon sword soul erupted. The power of the great dragon sword soul overlapped with the power of annihilation. In front of him, the sword light was originally dim and about to be extinguished at any time, but suddenly it seemed to be injected with a mysterious power and suddenly soared. It slashed in the air. The emperor figure was cut in half at the waist. Whoosh! The emperor figure and the illusion condensed by the Tao of dominance disappeared. Jun Wuya vomited blood and fell to the ground. How is this possible? He actually broke my Tao of dominance. Could it be that he was also hiding his strength? Damn it. Who the hell is this kid? Jun Wuya's body trembled. The others were also stunned. They were like statues, their minds in a daze. This scene was simply too inconceivable. He won. He actually won. The northern monster's pupils shrank. He knew Jun Wuya's strength. In his opinion, it would not be easy for Lin Xian to win against Jun Wuya. It was even possible that both of them would be injured. But now, Lin Xian actually suppressed Jun Wuya. He was not injured at all. It seems that his strength is beyond my imagination. The northern monster took a deep breath. Yu Linglong and Han Fei were both shocked. They could feel an immense threat. A rising genius was charging towards them. They had no choice but to treat him with caution. They were afraid that if they encountered Lin Xian in the future, they would have to use their full strength. Otherwise, they would end up like Jun Wuya. The black demon's body trembled, and his face was filled with fear. He originally wanted to challenge Lin Xian. He thought that his strength had increased greatly in the past few months, and he could easily trample on Lin Xian. But now, after seeing the battle between Lin Xian and Jun Wuya, he immediately changed his mind. Fight with Lin Xian? Trample on Lin Xian? What a joke! Even Jun Wuya, who had comprehended the Tao of dominance, was not a match for him, let alone him. Now, he only hoped that they would not encounter each other. The Great Elder, the Four Peak Masters, and the Mansion Master were also overjoyed. Lin Xian's strength was beyond their imagination. Finally, another peerless genius had appeared in their extraordinary scholar mansion. This guy would not be any weaker than Yi Gucheng when he grew up. This kid had the aura of an emperor. His future achievements were limitless. The Mansion Master nodded in satisfaction. Chapter 3086. Winner, Full Moon Peak's Lin Xian. The referee elder hurriedly announced the result. Soon, someone carried Jun Wuya off the stage. Lin Xian's figure flickered as he arrived below the stage. He stood with his hands behind his back and continued to watch the battle. This guy actually won. He actually comprehended the full moon wordless steel. How despicable! Qingwu was stunned, and so was Zhong Lingxiu. Shun Jingqiu was even happier. Her big eyes turned into crescents. The battle continued. This time, it was Shui Jiyu and He Mo's battle. When the two of them appeared, the crowd exclaimed again. The two of them were also outstanding sky prides. If the Northern Yao, Yu Linglong, and the others were top-tier sky prides who had comprehended the Tao, then Shui Jiyu and He Mo were in the second tier. Whether it was He Mo or Shui Jiyu, they were top-tier existences even in the second tier, especially the two of them, who had recently become very famous. He Mo had fought his way back from the fallen abyss, while Shui Jiyu had fought her way back from the blood refinement star. Both places were extremely dangerous. There were even places where half-saints were unwilling to enter. However, not only did the two of them enter, but they also came back alive. Their strength had greatly increased. On the stage, Shui Jiyu waved her blood-red scimitar and turned into a god of death. Monstrous blood-red light surged in all directions and covered the entire sky. The blood in the crowd's body roiled. The murderous aura almost made many people faint. On the other side, Mo was even more violent. His demonic aura filled the sky. The battle between the two was like a god of death fighting a demon king. It was earth-shattering. All kinds of magical techniques emerged one after another. Even the elders nodded in satisfaction. The two of them were not bad. Their strength had greatly increased compared to before. Is Shui Jiu going to use blood crystal? An elder exclaimed. Mo was going to use the 9 heavens fallen demon. In the sky, countless blood-red scimitar lights quickly condensed into a blood-red figure. It carried a powerful force as it charged forward. On the other side, the 9 heavens were upside down. Countless black runes formed a black abyss. The two terrifying forces exploded, destroying the world. Terrifying energy soared into the sky. In the end, Black Demon won by half a move, and a hellish crack pierced through the blood-red figure, causing Shui Jiu to cough up blood and fly back. Win. Mo actually won. Everyone cried out in surprise. This was a scene they had never imagined. Before, although Mo was strong, he was ranked behind Shui Jiu. Who would have thought that he would be able to make a comeback this time? The people of Full Moon Peak were also screaming crazily. First it was Lin Xian, and now it was Black Devil. This time, their Full Moon Peak was going to soar into the sky. Huangfu Beitian had yet to make his move. How would he perform this time? Everyone was looking forward to it. Not long after, Huangfu Beitian made his move. He walked up to the arena. Everyone screamed because his opponent had also come up. Han Fei. It was actually the third-ranked Han Fei. Huangfu Beitian was going to lose. Han Fei was extremely terrifying. He was even ranked above Jun Wuya. Jun Wuya had already comprehended the power of Tao, so Han Fei must have comprehended it as well. Moreover, its power was even greater than Jun Wuya's. They wondered how Huangfu Beitian would contend against him. Huangfu Beitian was ranked 5th. They wondered if he had comprehended the power of Tao. They did not know. Last time, they did not see him use it. Perhaps this time, he might have comprehended it. After all, Lin Xian had not fought with Huangfu Beitian on Full Moon Peak, so no one could make Huangfu Beitian use his true power. Everyone was watching this battle. Lin Xian's eyes were also shining. He wondered what kind of power Han Fei had comprehended that was close to the Tao. He had already experienced Jun Wuya's domineering Tao, but he had not seen Han Fei, Yu Linglong, and the Northern Demon's Tao. He could take advantage of this battle to observe. On the arena, neither of them spoke. Huangfu Beitian did not waste any time talking. He directly pulled out his mad blade and slashed forward. Wherever the long blade went, the void would be shattered. Han Fei was wearing a purple armor. Endless lightning rushed out of his body, instantly forming a lightning domain. He did not use his power of Tao. Instead, he used his king domain. After all, for these prodigies, the power of Tao was also a trump card. They could not use it casually. The purple lightning domain was extremely terrifying. It covered heaven and earth, and endless lightning fell from the sky. Every bolt of lightning could kill an invincible king. The elders were all astonished when they saw this. The elders of Divine Tactics Peak exclaimed. Han Fei's strength had increased again. Yes, although he was only at the peak of the 9-star realm, those at the peak of the invincible realm were not his match. Not only that, his lightning was approaching a limit. If it went any higher, it would be at the half-step saint level. If a half-step saint did not use the power of laws, it would be difficult to resist this lightning. Everyone discussed. Without a doubt, the purple lightning domain was extremely terrifying. The sky full of lightning enveloped Huangfu Beitian and swallowed him. Huangfu Beitian slashed in all directions with his long blade. The purple lightning that rushed toward him was all destroyed by him. He used his maximum speed and charged forward. What a violent saber technique! Countless experts exclaimed. The elder's eyelids also twitched. They originally thought that with Han Fei's strength, he could win by using his king domain. But now, it seemed that they had underestimated Huang Fu Beitian. At this moment, Huang Fu Beitian was charging forward like a god of sabers. Nothing could stop him wherever he went. The surrounding lightning kept shattering, and the void collapsed. Pung, pung, pung. In an instant, Huang Fu Beitian broke through the purple lightning clouds and arrived in front of Han Fei. Han Fei let out a soft exclamation of surprise. You can break through my lightning domain. I really underestimated you. Pah! He raised his hand and struck forward. Huang Fu Beitian's saber became stronger and more violent. In the end, even Yu Linglong, the North Demon, and the others were surprised. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He exclaimed in his heart, "This Huang Fu Beitian is incredible. His saber technique is so sharp." He nodded in admiration. He was a swordsman. A swordsman was similar to a saber artist. At this moment, he could see that Huang Fu Beitian's saber was not only sharp, but also precise and violent. Every strike had its effect. He did not waste a single bit of energy. No wonder Huang Fu Beitian could be ranked first on the full moon peak. Compared to He Mo, he was much stronger. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. He had seen the Black Demon's previous battle. It was very terrifying. However, in his opinion, it was too wasteful. Although the demonic aura was monstrous, most of the energy was just dazzling. It was not a threat to the opponent. However, Huang Fu Beitian was different. His power was all concentrated on his saber. One saber strike could destroy everything. Lin Xian was sure that if Huang Fu Beitian fought the Black Demon with all his strength, he would be able to defeat the Black Demon in 3 strikes. However, he still shook his head. If it was before, Huang Fu Beitian would indeed be a great threat to him. However, it was different now. He had comprehended 2 types of power that were close to the Tao. He had completely surpassed ordinary invincible kings. If Huang Fu Beitian did not have such power, he would not be a match for him at all. Chapter 3087. Han Fei was astonished by Huang Fu Beitian's saber. I didn't expect your saber technique to be so sharp. I admit that if I don't use my final trump card, I might not be able to suppress you 100%. Unfortunately, I'm going to get serious. The purple lightning around Han Fei's body became even more terrifying as he spoke. Let me show you my Tao of lightning. Great destruction. Han Fei's aura had changed. He struck out with his palm, and the sky was completely torn apart. Endless lightning struck Huang Fu Beitian and sent him flying. Huang Fu Beitian's frenzied saber also broke into 2 halves with a clang. A power close to the Tao had appeared. Great destruction. As soon as this power appeared, it destroyed everything. The people of the divine will peak screamed, and the elders let out a sigh of relief. Lin Xian stared at the sky with burning eyes. The Tao of lightning was one of the 3,000 Taos of heaven and earth. Furthermore, it was an extremely violent type. The power of lightning was one of the most violent forces in the world, and lightning-type experts were known for their violent destruction. At this moment, the moment the Tao of thunder that Han Fei had comprehended was unleashed, it truly destroyed everything. The power was 100 times stronger than the demonic aura and endless sea of blood that Shui Jiue and the Black Demon had displayed. The Black Demon, Shui Jiue, and the others trembled under the power, and their faces were filled with despair. Huang Fu Beitian also spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at the broken saber in his hand and shook his head helplessly. He stood up. I still have one last attack that I haven't used yet. It's useless. You're no match for me. Han Fei shook his head. However, Huang Fu Beitian did not admit defeat. He took a step forward and yelled, "Final saber, I intend to defeat the heavens." Huang Fu Beitian yelled, and the light on his body was extremely bright like the sun. It was so bright that the crowd could not open their eyes. No way, Huang Fu Beitian is still going to attack? His saber is already broken. The surrounding Sky Pride screamed, and the elders were shocked. He's treating himself as a saber with this move. This guy is really crazy. Buzz, buzz. Huang Fu Beitian turned into a saber and descended from the sky. Han Fei's eyelids twitched, and his face sank. The final saber? It's indeed powerful, but it's still not enough. Great spear of destruction. Boundless lightning surged around his body, forming a purple divine spear of annihilation that pierced forward. Boom, boom. A terrifying power erupted between heaven and earth. Huang Fu Beitian was sent flying, his face pale. On the other side, the purple divine spear also paused slightly as it shattered the void. Seeing this scene, the referee elder immediately announced that Han Fei was the victor. The full moon peak's grand elder's figure flickered, and he took Huang Fu Beitian away, as expected. Everyone sighed. In front of a power that was close to the Tao, no matter how powerful a divine ability was, it was useless. Han Fei retracted all of his power, his expression somewhat cold. His final attack had actually failed to pierce through his opponent. Instead, his opponent had actually caused his great destruction spear to pause slightly. This was simply inconceivable. This Huang Fu Beitian was also a fierce man. Once he comprehended a power that was close to the Tao, his strength would probably undergo an earth-shaking change. Han Fei took a deep breath and left the arena. This battle shook the heavens and the earth, truly shocking everyone. Although Huang Fu Beitian did not comprehend anything close to the power of the Tao, his final words were like a blade, shocking the heavens and shocking enough to shock everyone. Even the elders exclaimed in surprise. Transforming into a saber, the ultimate slash. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he was astounded. This Huang Fu Beitian was not far away from comprehending a power that was close to the Tao. He was only one step away from comprehending it. He knew that Huang Fu Beitian would be able to comprehend it soon after the battle. But what about this competition? Huang Fu Beitian had no chance of coming in the top 3. However, the final slash did give Lin Xian some inspiration. Lin Xian could feel that his understanding of the sword Tao had improved. The following battles were even more intense. The participants continued to draw lots in the next round. After the first round, Lin Xian was matched against the Black Demon in the second round. The Black Demon wore an unpleasant expression. He even had the urge to kill himself. 10 days ago, he had returned in a domineering manner with great confidence. In his opinion, he would be able to crush both Huang Fu Beitian and Lin Xian under his feet. He would become the strongest cultivator of the full moon peak. He might even be able to make it to the top 5. However, when he saw Lin Xian defeating Jun Wuya with a power that was close to the Tao, the Black Demon knew that there was no way he could defeat Lin Xian. He was no match for Lin Xian at all. Lin Xian could probably defeat him with a single move. Furthermore, he would be severely injured. The Black Demon could not accept such a huge difference. He felt that his hard work, effort, and pride over the past few months had all been crushed into pieces by Lin Xian. I admit defeat. On the stage, Black Demon used all of his strength to say these 3 words. At that moment, he could even hear the sound of his heart shattering. Lin Xian did not make his move. He did not even look at the Black Demon. His opponent was no match for him at all. He could not even take a single move from him, winning without a fight. This was another person who had done it after the North Demon. This Lin Xian was too terrifying. His fame was comparable to the North Demon. This kid could definitely make it to the top 3. Who could he push down? It would be difficult. The top three had all comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. They were all very terrifying. Although this kid was strong and had defeated Jun Wuya, it would not be easy for him to squeeze into the top three. Lin Xian, it's my turn. Lin Xian came down, and on the other side, Shun Jingqiu walked up. Be careful, don't get hurt. Lin Xian was concerned. It was that spiritual body. She was also very strong. He wondered who her opponent was. The surrounding martial artists and elders were all interested when they saw Shun Jingqiu on the arena. This time, Shun Jingqiu had also displayed her powerful strength. Her cultivation was probably the highest among the younger generation of the elite warrior manner. Humph! A cold snort was heard. Then, a man in silver armor flew through the air and landed on the arena. Lightning surrounded his body, supporting a lightning domain, as if he was the god of thunder. Mo Tian, it was actually him. Mo Tian, the second disciple of the divine strategy peak, ranked 7th in the elite warrior manner. His strength was unquestionable. Moreover, it was rumored that Mo Tian had recently found the ruins of a half-step saint and obtained a lot of good things. It was over. That Shun Jingqiu was going to be in danger. Yes, although she was a spiritual body and had a high cultivation, her combat strength was not the strongest. If she was lucky, she could make it to the top 10. But now that she had encountered Mo Tian, she would probably be defeated. She could only blame her bad luck, but it was not a big deal. She was very young. Even if she failed this time, it did not matter. With her talent, strength, and appearance, she would definitely be the future goddess of the elite warrior manner. Perhaps Qingwu's status would be challenged. Indeed, everyone was very excited. One could imagine how popular Shun Jingqiu would be in the elite warrior manner in the coming days. Chapter 3088. Below the arena, Lin Xian frowned slightly. The crimson dragon beside him was also muttering to himself. She should be fine, right? Shun Jingqiu clenched her fists when she heard the discussions around her. Her expression turned serious, and her body exuded a hazy purple aura. Do these people not think highly of me? However, I won't lose. Shun Jingqiu snorted coldly in her heart. Brother Lin Xian is so strong. He has already comprehended the power of the Tao. As his woman, I can't be a burden. Brother Lin Xian, don't worry. I'm not just a pretty face. I'll win for sure. Shun Jingqiu slowly formed a seal with her hands. Opposite her, Mo Tian's body was surrounded by lightning. He looked ahead and said coldly, "It's useless. You're not my match." Silver armor lightning ring. Mo Tian opened his mouth and spat out a ring. It was formed by silver lightning. Once it appeared, it flashed with terrifying lightning runes and streaked across the sky. Terrifying energy undulations surged forward, trying to pierce through Shun Jingqiu. The power that was learned in the book was simply too terrifying and violent. Even a peak-tier invincible king would be killed instantly. Shun Jingqiu didn't retreat in the face of this attack. Her fingers quickly formed a seal, and she shouted. Cloud-grasping fist, boundless deathly aura, wrapped around Shun Jingqiu's jade-like hands as she grabbed forward. What? She wants to grab the silver armor lightning ring with her bare hands? That's impossible. Does she want to die? The runes on the silver armor lightning ring were terrifying. It was clearly the work of a half-saint. This was definitely a treasure that Mo Tian had obtained from a half-saint relic. Even the older invincible kings didn't dare to take such an attack head-on. How dare she do it with her bare hands? Where did she get her confidence from? Her cultivation? However, in front of such a treasure, the gap between their cultivations was very close. The surrounding people were shocked. They thought that Shun Jingqiu was too careless. Is there anything wrong with that little girl? The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. Lin Xian's eyes flashed, and golden runes shone. He shook his head slightly. No problem. It seems like I've underestimated Xiao-er. Xiao-er is definitely going to win this battle. These words had the surrounding geniuses bewildered. They then shook their heads and laughed coldly. Lin Xian might be powerful, but Shen Jingqiu might not be. Although the other party is your woman, you can't be so confident. Mo Tian was ranked 7th in the House of Prodigy. He was even stronger than He Mo. They didn't believe Lin Xian's words. But in the next moment, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. In front of him, a pair of purple jade-like hands reached out and shuttled through the void. They grabbed the silver lightning ring and squeezed it hard. With a cracking sound, the lightning ring broke into 2 halves. What? He was caught. Everyone was shocked, and he even broke it. Heavens, what kind of method is this? These people were going crazy. Some of the elders were also shocked. Previously, they didn't think highly of Shen Jingqiu. They thought that Shen Jingqiu was too arrogant to take the attack with her bare hands. It was very likely that he would be seriously injured. However, the result was beyond their expectations. It was actually broken. Mo Tian also frowned as his pupils abruptly shrank. He had never taken the other party seriously before, but from the looks of it now, he had underestimated the other party. Sure enough, you have the ability. No wonder you dare to make a move against me. But that attack just now was just my probing. Next, you will receive a storm-like attack. Mo Tian gave a cold shout. His eyes erupted with a piercing cold light. His body was like lightning as he quickly rushed forward. In an instant, he arrived in front of Shen Jingqiu. His palm was like a lightning blade, invincible as it chopped down from the sky. It was comparable to a peak treasure. Rushing Thunder Hand. It was the lightning great divine ability again. Shen Jingqiu turned into a purple cloud and disappeared in an instant. Even though the rushing Thunder Hand pierced through the cloud, it didn't hurt Shen Jingqiu. Following that, the two displayed their great divine abilities and began to contend in the sky. The surrounding people were shocked. At first, they didn't dare to believe it. Then, they burst into exclamations that filled the sky. This Shen Jingqiu was really too powerful. Didn't expect that she could actually contend with Mo Tian. Moreover, they were evenly matched. Heavens, is this a spirit body? She's also a newcomer. Why do I feel that everyone who is related to Lin Xian is so perverted? Everyone exclaimed. Those elders were also full of joy. However, Mo Tian frowned. After fighting for so long, he had displayed so many lightning great divine abilities, but he couldn't do anything to his opponent. He couldn't believe it. In the next moment, he gave a violent shout and rushed into the sky. Lightning surrounded his body. The terrifying lightning made people's souls tremble. Little girl, you've angered me. Next, I'll let you see my new treasure. Mo Tian stretched out his hand. On his right wrist, there was a string of crystal-clear lightning beads. There were a total of 18 lightning beads drawn on the beads. Each lightning rune transformed into a lightning beast on the lightning beads. The 18 lightning beads were connected together. It was incomparably ferocious. At this moment, under Mo Tian's powerful lightning power, the 18 lightning beads flickered rapidly. The 18 lightning runes gushed out, and a terrifying power erupted. What was that? It must be a treasure obtained from the half-saint's ruins. It was too powerful. It was second only to the power close to Tao. Perhaps only the power close to Tao and Huangfu Baiqian's ultimate blade could shatter it. Did Shen Jingqiu still have a trump card? If she didn't, she would have lost. Furthermore, she might be severely injured. Everyone started to worry for this beautiful girl again. Shen Jingqiu naturally felt threatened. The lightning runes emitted by the 18 lightning beads made her body tense up. Humph, she shouted. Do you want to compete with your final trump card? Come on, I'll let you see my trump card. Spiritual Wuji, With a low shout, a rune appeared between Shun Jingqiu's eyebrows. It was a mysterious blood-red rune. Once this blood-red rune appeared, the spiritual energy in the skies surged. Endless energy surged towards Shun Jingqiu like a rain of light. Shun Jingqiu's aura also rose rapidly. This aura? What's going on? Damn it, how is it possible? The elders stood up, their faces full of shock. Lin Xian was also shocked. Qiu Er's aura had surpassed that of an invincible king. Indeed, Shun Jingqiu was in the complete invincible realm. She had reached the limit of an invincible king. But now, his opponent's cultivation had increased again. Could it be that she was going to enter the half-saint realm? I didn't expect her to cultivate her spiritual body to such a level. The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. The surrounding people were horrified. That's not right. A half-saint didn't just increase one's cultivation, but also one's understanding of the Tao of heaven and earth. If she didn't understand the Tao of heaven and earth, how could she become a half-saint? That was indeed the case. A half-saint was equivalent to half a step into the realm of a saint. They could already understand the Tao of heaven and earth. The power they controlled surpassed the power close to Tao. It was called the fragment of the laws. It was an incomplete law. Once they understood the complete law, they would break through from a half-saint to a true saint. It could be said that the half-saint realm was below the saints. It was completely above the invincible kings. Chapter 3089. The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. What do you know? How can you understand the power of a spirit body? This was a famous physique in ancient times. Her cultivation had already surpassed the invincible king realm. She had not reached the saint realm, but she could reach the half-saint realm. It was just that she had not comprehended the laws. A half-saint realm without comprehending the laws. Countless exclamations were heard. The elders were also shocked. The four-peak masters and supreme elders were also surprised. The mansion master nodded slightly. Not bad, not bad. This little girl is very talented. Even Han Fei, Yu Linglong, and the others were surprised. The northern demon also had a serious expression. In the arena, Mo Tian frowned. His body trembled slightly. He felt a terrifying pressure coming from his opponent. This pressure was too strong. If Luo Yinyang's cultivation base was a great river, then Luo Yinyang's cultivation base was an endless ocean. This kind of comparison was enough to directly crush him. Buzz. He could not wait any longer. He could not let his opponent's aura completely increase. He waved his arm, and the 18 lightning pearls on his wrist rushed out. They circled in the sky and enlarged like 18 stars. The 18 lightning beasts on the pearls kept roaring. They sometimes turned into ferocious beasts and sometimes into ancient runes. As they rose and fell, bolts of lightning descended from the sky and completely engulfed the area below. The 18 lightning beasts finally burst out at this moment and rushed down. Boom! The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. This was a fatal attack. An invincible king, realm expert, could not withstand it. In the sea of lightning, Shun Jingqiu also made her move. The purple cloud armor appeared on her body. She was like a supreme goddess. With a wave of her hand, the surrounding lightning shattered. Then she slapped out a lightning beast that was close to her and sent it flying. She was too strong. Her power had surpassed the invincible king realm and even reached the level of Huangfu Baitian's ultimate blade. However, the ultimate blade could only be used once. Shun Jingqiu could now maintain this power and form a special state. So strong. Was this the power of a spirit body? Huangfu Baitian was also shocked. Even Han Fei, Jun Wuya, and the other geniuses who had comprehended the Tao looked solemn. His opponent was currently a half-saint. Although she had not comprehended the laws, She was extremely powerful. She had surpassed the invincible king realm. However, they were confident that they could defeat the other party. But what if the other party's cultivation level increased to that of a saint? Although there were no laws with that boundless and ferocious cultivation strength, could it suppress them? They had no idea. Moreover, they did not know if Shin Jingqiu could reach that level. But no matter what, this was an opponent with great potential. The more Shin Jingqiu fought, the braver she became. She was like a fairy from the 9 heavens, sweeping through all directions. The 18 lightning beasts were beaten by her until they screamed miserably. In the end, they were all turned into ashes. Ka ka ka. Cracks had also appeared on the mysterious lightning bead bracelet. It looked like it would collapse at any moment. Seeing this, Mo Tian's face turned extremely ugly. He hurriedly put away the lightning bead bracelet. He had lost. Mo Tian actually lost. Everyone cried out in disbelief. Mo Tian was ranked 7th. How powerful! Especially when he used the 18 lightning beads bracelet. He would be able to fight against Huangfu Beitian. But now he had lost to Shin Jingqiu. It was unbelievable. Why do I feel that Shin Jingqiu is too scary? That move of hers was able to fight against a power that was close to the Tao. I don't know. The power that was close to the Tao was too strange. Unless they really fought, no one would be able to deduce it. I've won. Shin Jingqiu heaved a sigh of relief. She removed the power of the bloodline, and the rune between her eyebrows disappeared. Her cultivation had also returned to the invincible great perfection realm. Big brother Lin Xian Qiu has won. Shin Jingqiu cheered as she ran down the arena. Lin Xian was also very happy. He hugged Shin Jingqiu in his arms. Everyone was extremely envious. Damn, the new goddess is already taken. Many people were disappointed. Shin Jingqiu's appearance, cultivation, strength, and talent were all excellent. She was not inferior to Qin Wu at all. She was a new goddess. However, at this moment, when they saw Shin Jingqiu snuggling in Lin Xian's arms with a blissful look on her face, the surrounding geniuses felt their hearts bleeding. They had not even started to fight, but the goddess was already taken? If it wasn't for Lin Xian, I really want to go up and beat him up. Sigh, forget it. I'll give Lin Xian some face. These people shook their heads and sighed. It was not that they did not want to fight, but that they could not beat Lin Xian. The competition continued. Next, another peerless genius appeared. It was Zhong Lingxiu. She defeated Xue Jiyue in a domineering manner, which also shocked the crowd. Shin Jingqiu was already taken, but Zhong Lingxiu did not seem to be. Whoever was able to gain the favor of Fairy Zhong would definitely be extremely lucky. These geniuses once again looked at Zhong Lingxiu. However, Zhong Lingxiu's gaze was calm, as if she did not pay special attention to anyone. Lin Xian, the North Demon, and the others also frowned slightly. This was because they saw coldness and disregard in each other's eyes. Indeed, it was coldness and disregard. As if she did not care about the entire world. How confident did she have to be to have such an expression? Was she looking down on the world? Lin Xian was surprised. It seemed that Zhong Lingxiu was more mysterious than he thought. He wondered if she had grasped a power that was close to Tao. The competition continued. Everyone went up one after another. Among them, Lin Xian won every match. Shin Jingqiu and Yu Linglong fought and lost to Yu Linglong. Jun Huya attacked again. After winning a few matches, he lost to Han Fei. Huangfu Beitian, He Mo, and the others also attacked. There were victories and defeats. There were only 4 people who won every match. The North Demon, Yu Linglong, Han Fei, and Lin Xian. Buzz. A figure walked up. He wore a purple armor and was surrounded by a purple sea of lightning. It was Han Fei. After Han Fei came up, he looked around. I wonder who his opponent is. No matter who it was, they would be miserable. Other than the North Demon and Yu Linglong, no one could beat him. It's my turn. Lin Xian also walked up the stage. Everyone screamed. What? It's Lin Xian. Lin Xian was going to fight Han Fei. Heavens, is the final battle about to begin? Both of them had won every match. Moreover, both of them had grasped a power that was close to Tao. Who would be the stronger one if the two of them fought? Han Fei stood in the field with a serious expression. His eyebrows and hair were purple and surrounded by powerful lightning. When he saw Lin Xian come up, he said coldly, "The power that you've grasped is close to Tao. It's strange. It's like destruction, but it's silent. It's similar to my Tao of lightning. I really want to know who's stronger between the two of you." At this point, endless lightning surged from Han Fei's body and pierced through the 9 heavens. I want to know too. It seems like I'll be able to get the result now. Lin Xian smiled, then extended a hand in invitation. A terrifying aura surged from his body as if he was a demon king that could destroy everything. Great destruction. Han Fei threw a punch. Terrifying energy surged, and everywhere it passed, the sky collapsed. Chapter 3090. A power that was close to the Tao had appeared. Everyone was amazed when they saw the power of great destruction again. The elders were also excited. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He did not dare to be careless against this power. Buzz. He waved his sword and executed the sword of annihilation. With a slash of the sword destroyed everything. The two collided in the air, and the resulting power made Huangfu Beitian, Mo Tian, Hey Mo, and the others scream in horror. It was too terrifying. Most likely he could defeat them with a single move or even kill them. Boom, boom, boom. The two forces dissipated at the same time. It was indeed powerful. It was mysterious. It seemed that this power alone could not do anything to you. Han Fei snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, endless lightning quickly formed a spear that he held in his hand. Great Destruction Spear. He waved the spear in his hand and stabbed out. Thousands of light shadows surged forward with the power of destruction. One after another, they were densely packed and enveloped the entire world. This was a law ability. An elder exclaimed. A power that was close to the Tao coupled with an unparalleled ability. Heavens! Han Fei was too heaven-defying. His application of this power was simply too powerful. In the previous battle, even if it was close to the Tao, he could easily defeat the enemy with just 1 or 2 moves. It was the first time that such a fusion of power had appeared. Therefore, everyone was amazed. They looked at Lin Xian, wondering if Lin Xian could resist it. How far had Lin Xian's comprehension of the laws reached? A law ability? It's really surprising. He smiled and was not afraid at all. In the next moment, he waved his sword and destroyed the lotus. Streaks of sword chi appeared one after another, forming numerous green lotuses in the sky. Each sword lotus carried an extremely strong power of annihilation. Anyone who touched it would turn into nothingness. A law ability. Another law ability. He fused a power that was close to the Tao into his sword technique. This Lin Xian was incredible. Clang! The blazing Qilin sword and the Great Destruction Spear collided, producing an earth-shaking sound. Many people's bodies swayed. Hey Mo and the others turned pale and retreated frantically. It was too terrifying. In the sky, half of the sky had turned into a terrifying black hole, rumbling nonstop, and flashes of lightning flashed within. The other half of the sky instantly collapsed. The two forces clashed in the sky. After the first attack, the two continued to attack. Damn it, I can't do anything to him. Han Fei's face sank. He opened his mouth and spat out a large bell. Undying thunderous roar. The huge bell in the sky shook violently. Runes appeared on its surface and surged in all directions like a tide. "Saint runes!" Someone screamed. "No, this is not an ordinary saint's rune." Finally, a grand elder cried out in alarm. The saint's runes also contained power that was close to the Tao. What? How could he have such a thing? Many heaven rankers were shocked, their faces pale. There were also elders who said that the runes of saints were engraved by saints and were mysterious and profound. Ordinary invincible kings could only erupt with a portion of their power, but it was already very terrifying. They could laugh at the world. However, if it was activated by a half-saint, then it would release an even more terrifying power. If it was activated by a true saint, then it would be no different from a Tao pattern law. Therefore, although they were all saints' runes, the power would be different if the user was different. At this moment, in Han Fei's hands, it naturally displayed a power that was close to the Tao. Buzz, buzz. Heaven and earth were everywhere, and all living things were huge. The terrifying sound waves were like thousands of soldiers and horses galloping. Clang, clang, puff. Many people vomited blood, and some people's weapons directly shattered, turning into scrap iron and falling to the ground. Retreat quickly. These people retreated crazily. The sound waves were too terrifying and could destroy everything. Waves of sound waves rushed forward. Annihilation, Green Lotus, Seventh Sword. Lin Xian shouted coldly and slashed down. The biting cold sword Qi with the power of annihilation slashed at the sound waves. The sound waves were like a tide. After touching the sword Qi, they quickly dissipated. It was useless. You could block it for a while, but you couldn't block it forever. Han Fei was abnormally strong. Above his head, the eternal demon bell quickly attacked. It's over. Lin Xian is in danger. Yes, he only had a power that was close to the Tao. But now, Han Fei took out the eternal demon bell, and the power it released was not weaker than the Tao. It was equivalent to 2 against 1. How could Lin Xian resist? Unless he also had such a treasure, or used a saint's rune. Otherwise, he was really in danger. Was Lin Xian going to be defeated? Lin Xian took a deep breath. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared and superimposed on the power of annihilation. In the next moment, he used the Green Lotus sword art again. Annihilation, Green Lotus, 9th sword. Buzz, buzz. 9 huge sword Qi intertwined in the sky, forming a lotus that bloomed quickly. The petals with the power of annihilation spun out and collided with the eternal demon bell. With a clang, the eternal demon bell was sent flying. The sound waves that filled the sky were shattered. Puff! Han Fei was hit and spurted out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, his expression changed drastically. The lotus in the sky enveloped him, and a terrifying power acted on his body, causing the lightning around him to disappear rapidly. Damn it! Get lost! Han Fei roared, and the power of annihilation burst out, bombarding the surroundings. However, he still underestimated this sword. After superimposing the power of the great dragon sword soul, its power was much stronger than before. Therefore, Han Fei was soon engulfed. The entire space had completely collapsed. How could it be? Han Fei couldn't block it? What was going on? The Sky Pride screamed in horror. The people of Divine Tactics Peak were stunned. It shouldn't be. Han Fei had the upper hand after taking out the Eternal Demon Bell. Logically speaking, he should be able to defeat his opponent in a short time. But why did he end up in such a dangerous situation? How did that kid do it? The elders of Ethereal Peak and Exquisite Peak frowned. His power of annihilation had increased again. Could it be that he didn't use his full strength before? They sucked in a breath of cold air when they thought of this possibility. In front of them was a chaotic void. Finally, the terrifying power of annihilation slowly disappeared. A figure flashed out of the void. This figure was in a miserable state. Half of his body had disappeared, and his body was dyed red with blood. His handsome face was pale, and his eyes were filled with shock. Damn it! How could you be so powerful? This person was Han Fei. After seeing Han Fei's state, everyone was stunned. Even Yu Linglong's pupils shrank. Han Fei actually suffered such a heavy injury. How could this be? The northern demon sucked in a deep breath, and his expression was grave. As for the others, they were completely stunned. Chapter 3091. You've lost. Lin Xian looked at Han Fei and said indifferently, "Kid, I admit that you're very strong. Your last attack almost killed me. You even injured me severely. But I haven't lost yet. There's still one more move that I haven't used yet." Han Fei's body quickly reassembled, and his face was incomparably pale. "I originally planned to use this move against the North Demon, but I didn't expect to use it against you. However, you should be proud of yourself. You'll be defeated by this move." Han Fei still has a trump card. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. The elders of the Divine Will Peak were also excited. Could it be that it's another move? This is great. If Han Fei used that move, he would definitely be able to defeat this brat. It could even threaten the North Demon. He still has a trump card? Lin Xian was also stunned. Then he smiled and said, "Just use whatever you have. I'll take it." Han Fei didn't say anything. He condensed the Great Destruction Spear again, and a terrifying destructive power suppressed the surroundings. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. "The Great Destruction Spear is useless against me." Indeed, the results of the previous battle had already shown that his strength was above Han Fei's. However, Han Fei didn't say anything. Instead, he took out another item. It was a small bottle that was crystal clear like white jade. After he opened it, he poured out a drop of blood. As soon as the blood came out, the surrounding space trembled violently, and countless cracks appeared. It couldn't withstand it at all. There were even sparkling lights flickering in the blood, bringing with it shocking power. What kind of blood is this? Everyone's heart trembled, and even their souls shook. The elders of the Divine Will Peak were extremely excited. Half-saint blood. He finally took out that thing. What? Half-saint blood. What is he going to do? Everyone exclaimed. Half-saints had already condensed law fragments, which surpassed the power of the Tao. Their blood naturally contained law fragments. A drop of half-saint blood could kill any invincible king. Could it be that Han Fei wanted to use half-saint blood to kill Lin Xian? However, with Lin Xian's speed and the power of annihilation, he should be able to dodge it. This was indeed the case. It was very difficult for one drop of blood to kill Lin Xian. Only a large amount of semi-sage blood could threaten to kill Lin Xian. However, to everyone's surprise, Han Fei did not kill Lin Xian. Instead, he fused with the Great Destruction Spear in his hand. In the next moment, a shocking change occurred. Streaks of blood-red light appeared on the surface of the Great Destruction Spear, and its power suddenly skyrocketed. The entire sky collapsed completely as an extremely ferocious power surged out. Even the surrounding formations were trembling violently. Despair filled the faces of the martial artists inside the array. This power? Heavens, is this the law? It was too terrifying. Even the elders felt their scalps go numb. Who would have thought that Han Fei would actually fuse the Tao of Destruction with the half-saint's blood and erupt with even more shocking power? The power of the fusion of the semi-sage blood and the Great Destruction Spear was terrifying. It had already surpassed the power displayed by Lin Xian. Therefore, when everyone felt this power, their expressions all changed. Oh no, Lin Xian was in danger. Yes, They did not expect Han Fei to have such a trump card. Lin Xian had already seriously injured Han Fei before. He was about to win, but he did not expect to make a comeback at the last moment. Boy, you have no chance. Han Fei shouted coldly. He leaped high, and the blood-red Great Destruction Spear in his hand charged straight down. Lin Xian frowned. He felt a great threat. The blood of a semi-sage? He actually had such a trump card. Indeed, this strike had surpassed the previous one. But so what? Lin Xian smiled. The previous attack was the 9th sword of the Green Lotus Sword technique. The Green Lotus Sword technique had a total of 13 swords. The 13th sword combined with the power of annihilation was something that Han Fei had not seen before. Well, he would let these people see it. Buzz. Annihilation Green Lotus. The 13th sword. Lin Xian waved his long sword, sweeping across the 9 heavens. 13 streaks of sword chi flew out with the power of annihilation, forming a sword chi lotus in the sky. It collided with the blood-stained Great Destruction Spear. The aura of the lotus had become stronger again. It was much stronger than the previous one. Heavens, Lin Xian also had a hidden trump card. Everyone was stunned. Han Fei's pupils shrank. He did not expect his opponent to become stronger again. It even made him tremble. He felt the Great Destruction Spear in his hand tremble, as if it would vanish at any time. Damn it! No! Be destroyed! With a roar, he desperately activated his power and stabbed down. Endless light burst out, illuminating the 9 heavens and 10 earths. No one could open their eyes. Only the peak masters of the 4 peaks, as well as the mansion master and the others, had their eyes piercing through the 9 heavens. It was not until a long time later that the light between heaven and earth gradually dissipated. Everyone hurriedly opened their eyes. How was it? How was the battle? Who won this battle? It was Lin Xian's Annihilation Lotus, or the blood-stained Great Destruction Spear. I think it should be the Great Destruction Spear. The blood of a half-step saint combined with the path of destruction is too terrifying. It should be able to threaten a half-step saint. That might not necessarily be the case. Lin Xian's Lotus Sword Chi was too terrifying. Its might was twice as strong as before. How on earth did he execute it? Everyone was discussing animatedly as they looked forward. In the next moment, their eyes widened. In the arena, Lin Xian's expression was calm. His bright red robe was spotless, and he stood with his hands behind his back. In front of him stood 2 figures. One of them was Han Fei. At this moment, Han Fei's face was pale. The Great Destruction Spear in his hand had long disappeared. Not only that, but one of his arms was also missing. Beside him stood an old man. It was the referee elder. The referee elder had made a move. What was going on? The surrounding prodigies were discussing animatedly. Someone exclaimed. Han Fei had lost. The referee elder had made a move at the critical moment and saved his life. What? You're saying that the sword strike just now could threaten Han Fei's life? I'm afraid so. Everyone gasped in shock, and the elder sucked in a breath of cold air. The elder of the Divine Strategy Peak looked up and sighed. He had lost. The number 1 prodigy of the Divine Strategy Peak had actually lost. Lin Xian was too terrifying. How could this be? Han Fei's eyes were also empty. He still couldn't accept this fact. Indeed, although his Great Destruction Spear was stained with the blood of a half-step saint, it still couldn't withstand that shocking attack and disappeared in the end. Not only that, but the power of annihilation had also enveloped his entire body. In an instant, his entire right arm was gone. It was too powerful. It was so powerful that he couldn't withstand it at all. If this continued, he would be killed. Therefore, he could only admit defeat. A sword light flashed in the sky. The referee elder had made a move and destroyed the terrifying sword Chi Lotus, saving Han Fei. However, This also indicated that Han Fei had been completely defeated in this battle. Chapter 3092. Winner, Lin Xian. The judge announced the result and, at the same time, gave Han Fei a boost. Lin Xian really won. I'm not dreaming, am I? These people were stunned. The people of Full Moon Peak were also stunned. Then they burst into cheers. Lin Xian actually won. Ha ha ha! Our Full Moon Peak is going to produce a dragon this time. Han Fei is third. Lin Xian defeated Han Fei. Doesn't that mean that he's already in the top 3? The Sky Prides of Full Moon Peak were stunned. The elders were also extremely excited. The Grand Elder took a deep breath, his eyes red. Even the Peak Master of Full Moon Peak smiled. There was nothing they could do. Full Moon Peak had been quiet for too long. They had been suppressed to the last place. Even their number 1, Huangfu Beitian, was only ranked 5th in the entire Extraordinary Warrior Manor. When Full Moon Peak was mentioned, the people of the other 3 peaks were full of disdain and ridicule. Now, they could finally hold their heads high. Lin Xian displayed a power that was close to the Tao. He defeated Jun Wuya and Han Fei and successfully entered the top 3. This was their Full Moon Peaks moment. This was their Full Moon Peaks glory. At this moment, the entire Full Moon Peak fell into a sea of joy. He actually managed to enter the top 3. Huangfu Beitian took a deep breath and clenched his fists. Black Demon was even more in disbelief. To be honest, he didn't dare to provoke Lin Xian at all. He even had to avoid Lin Xian when he saw him. The other Sky Prides were even more shocked. For so many years, the top 3 of the Extraordinary Warrior Manor had been dominated by the North Demon, Yu Linglong, and Han Fei. The rankings were unshakable. They were like 3 mountains that pressed down on everyone's hearts. But now, someone had shaken one of the mountains. Moreover, it was a newcomer who had entered less than a year ago. This was simply a miracle, a legend. Han Fei was defeated. Yu Linglong took a deep breath. Her expression was extremely solemn. Lin Xian was the biggest threat to her apart from the North Demon. The North Demon also looked at Lin Xian. His eyes shone with a piercing light. Soon, we will be exchanging blows very soon. At that time, I will personally experience the strength of the successor of the great dragon sword soul. The North Demon was becoming more and more interested in Lin Xian. He was eager to fight Lin Xian. Lin Xian's victory could be said to have created another legend. Everyone was excited, and only after a long discussion did they gradually calm down. Moreover, this was forcefully interrupted by the referee elder. Otherwise, he would probably be excited for 3 days and 3 nights. Brat, well done. After seeing Lin Xian walk down, the Crimson Dragon waved its claws and laughed, while Shin Jingqiu clapped and cheered. At the side, Yi Fei, Xueling, Wang Qi, and the others came to congratulate him. Even Huangfu Beitian came. The Black Demon stood in the distance and struggled for a long time. In the end, he also came over and lowered his arrogant head. He first congratulated Lin Xian, then apologized to Lin Xian, and admitted his previous rashness. This scene made everyone feel even more incredulous. Even the arrogant Black Demon lowered his head to Lin Xian. It could be said that Lin Xian's battle had convinced all the prodigies of the Full Moon Peak. He had become the champion of the Full Moon Peak. Lin Xian raised his head and looked into the distance. The champion of the Full Moon Peak? This was not what he wanted in the end. What he wanted was the champion of the House of Prodigy. The battle between Lin Xian and Han Fei made everyone excited and excited. Although the following battle was exciting, it was much worse than the previous battle. Everyone was a little uninterested. They really wanted to see a battle that was close to the power of the Tao again. Yes, that kind of power was the strongest power in the world. The other invincible kings were too far away. Everyone was looking forward to seeing that miraculous power again. Not long after, they burst into cries of surprise. This time, even the elders seemed to have been injected with chicken blood and were extremely excited. The peak leader of Gale was also paying close attention. This time, it was another battle between two top prodigies, the North Demon against Yulinglong. This battle could be said to be more exciting than the previous battle between Lin Xian and Han Fei. The North Demon was the champion of the House of Prodigy. He was incomparably powerful. Yulinglong was the second champion of the House of Prodigy. Her strength was above Han Fei. Moreover, during this period of time, Yulinglong had been cultivating in seclusion. Her strength must have increased greatly. It could be said that the outcome of her battle with the North Demon was unknown. This battle could be said to be the most anticipated battle in the hearts of countless people. He wondered just how strong the North Demon was. Could Yulinglong counterattack and defeat the North Demon? If that was the case, then it would be worth watching. These people were excited. Lin Xian also revealed a smile. Could he finally see the full strength of the two of them? Well, let's see what kind of Tao they have comprehended. He had already seen the Tao of Jun Wuya and Han Fei. The battle in front of him could let him see the Tao of Northern Demon and Yulinglong. This would be of great help to him when he fought the two of them in the future. Know your enemy and know yourself, and you will never be defeated. In the arena, the two of them were 30 meters apart. The North Demon's body was slender, and his gaze was deep. He looked at the beautiful figure in front of him and smiled faintly. Yulinglong, make your move. Let me see how much your strength has grown recently. North Demon, don't be careless. This time, my strength will definitely surprise you. Who knows, I might even be able to defeat you. Yulinglong's red lips parted slightly. Is that so? I'm looking forward to it. As he spoke, the North Demon waved his finger. Instantly, a ball of green light appeared around Yulinglong and enveloped her. Within the green light, countless plants grew out in a frenzy, completely enveloping Yulinglong within. This scene appeared very suddenly. Everyone was shocked because most of them had never seen the North Demon make a move before. Those who had fought with the North Demon before were all defeated without a fight. They did not dare to attack the North Demon at all. It could be said that this was the first time the crowd had seen the North Demon make a move. Plants. Could the North Demon be a wood elemental martial artist? Shouldn't wood elemental martial artists be used to heal life elemental martial artists? Many sky prides were confused. However, Han Fei, Jun Wuya, Huang Fubeitian, and the others' expressions were extremely grave. The North Demon really made a move. They were not surprised because they had fought with the North Demon before and knew that he was a wood elemental martial artist. However, they did not agree with the crowd's thoughts. Were wood elemental martial artists only supposed to heal and assist? What a joke. When these people saw how terrifying the North Demon was, they would change their view of wood elemental martial artists. Lin Xian's pupils constricted, and his face was filled with shock. Wood elemental martial artist? That was rare. They did not expect the North Demon to be a wood elemental martial artist. Then, was the power that he had comprehended close to the Tao related to wood elemental plants? In the arena, Yulinglong was already enveloped by those plants. It was so terrifying that the green light covered her. Yulinglong was not afraid at all. She formed a seal with her palms. Instantly, a gust of wind surged from her body and blew away the surrounding plants. In the next moment, she rose into the air. Her clothes and black hair fluttered in the wind. North Demon, there is no need for us to test each other. Just show me your true strength. Yulinglong's voice rang out. Chapter 3093. Wind Kill. Yulinglong's aura instantly changed. It became incomparably ethereal, as if it had merged with the wind. A violent wind blew in all directions, and large cracks appeared all over the place. The law of wind. This was the power of the law of wind. Yu Linglong had actually comprehended this power. Many people screamed. Lin Xian was also surprised. The power of wind? Wind type against wood type. This was going to be interesting. That's what I was thinking. Facing the extremely powerful storm, the North Beast was not afraid at all. He waved his hand. With a boom, the sky split open. A huge black shadow filled the sky, flickering with a terrifying aura like a hill. What was that? Feeling the terrifying aura and majestic power, everyone raised their heads. In the next moment, they screamed. It was a plant. It was a tree. A divine tree appeared between heaven and earth, growing in the void. Vast branches and vines covered the sky and the earth, stretching for hundreds of thousands of miles. It was too mysterious, like a myth. The wood of 10,000 demons. The North Beast did not hold back at all. Jun Wuya's expression was solemn, and his voice was trembling. Although he was the second strongest of ethereal peak, he was still afraid of the North Beast. Han Fei said coldly, "How could he hold back? People at their level would definitely go all out. The wood of 10,000 demons. How would Yu Linglong resist?" Logically speaking, as a lightning-type warrior who had comprehended the Tao of lightning, he should be able to suppress wood-type attacks. But at this moment, facing the wood of 10,000 demons, his face was pale, without a trace of blood. That was really shocking. The wood of 10,000 demons? Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and he was shocked. This divine tree was really too terrifying. It displayed an extremely powerful strength and exuberant vitality. With this divine tree, the North Beast would probably be able to recover, no matter how injured he was. It was practically immortal, unless he could kill the North Beast in one strike, but he knew that it was impossible. Even he could not do it at the moment. Perhaps even a half-sage could not do it. Perhaps only a true sage could kill the North Beast in one strike when using a true law divine ability. Has it appeared? The wood of 10,000 demons. Yu Linglong floated in the void, looking at the huge object that was like a divine city above her head. Her eyes sparkled. Her body also began to tremble slightly. In the next moment, she let out a delicate cry, and a huge storm appeared around her. It rushed into the clouds, and two wind blades that were thousands of miles long slashed into the sky. A illusory wind. At the same time, she charged toward the northern monster. She knew that only by defeating the northern monster would the terrifying tree in the sky disappear. Wind blades filled the sky like a rain of light. He sent it out. Every single one of them was incomparably terrifying. It was comparable to a peak heaven step treasure. This was a power that was close to the Tao. It was far beyond ordinary divine abilities. A wind blade. He could easily kill invincible kings. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged towards the North Demon. The Northern Demon didn't dodge at all. With a wave of his hand, the tree of 10,000 demons hung down from the sky. In front of him, plants grew wildly. The wind ninjas were also trembling. On top of those wind blades, beautiful flowers actually bloomed one after another. The power of those wind blades was completely absorbed by the demonic flower and dissipated into the void. In an instant, the entire sky was filled with demonic flowers. It was exceptionally beautiful. It was so beautiful. The women exclaimed in admiration. However, the top prodigies felt their scalps go numb. It was too terrifying. The northern monster's Tao of wood was extremely terrifying. Humph, this is my brother's power. Qing Wu raised her small face, her face full of excitement. She was very clear about her brother's strength. Previously, there were 3 peak stage invincible kings who had chased after the northern demon. However, The bodies of those 3 peak-stage invincible kings split open, and countless plants grew out of them. They were forcefully sucked dry. Who said that wood-type martial artists could only save people? Her brother, the Northern Demon, could easily kill any invincible king. In the sky, the 2 powers that were close to the Tao collided violently. The plants in the sky grew wildly, and a terrifying storm erupted. Seeing this, everyone was terrified. This divine ability was comparable to a half-step saint. These 2 people were incredible. Their strength far surpassed Junwuya and Han Fei's. They wondered how Lin Xian would fare if he encountered these 2. It would be difficult. Although Lin Xian's power was strong, it was probably not comparable to these 2, especially the Northern Demon. His Tao of wood and Tao of wood were too terrifying. No one would be able to break through it. The wind blew for 90,000 miles with a furious roar. The sky was torn apart, and the power that was close to the Tao filled the world. The scene was too terrifying. The storm was like 2 giant dragons dancing in the sky, shattering the entire sky. The tree of 10,000 demons in the sky rumbled and trembled. It had erupted. Yu Linglong was probably going to use her trump card. Han Fei and Junwuya both exclaimed. The wind blew for 90,000 miles, flattening everything in the world. A terrifying divine ability enveloped the entire area. Even the faces of the elders changed. This Yu Linglong was incredible. That was... The elder of Linglong Peak was proud. Yu Linglong's strength had increased by leaps and bounds. This time, she would definitely be able to defeat the Northern Demon. Facing such a terrifying divine ability, the Northern Demon was unusually calm. He did not panic at all. He waved his hand and pointed at the void. Divine tree descend. Boom, boom, boom. The tree that was like a divine city in the sky quickly descended. With a powerful aura, it cut the 2 giant dragon storms in half. Wind-binding kill. The collision in the sky continued, but Yu Linglong still used the blitz of wind to arrive behind the Northern Demon. A green long sword appeared in her hand. It pulsed with multicolored light, and an extremely mysterious power flickered on it. It was condensed with a power that was close to the Tao. Under this attack, any top-tier armor would be shattered. Nothing could stop it. The divine tree bloomed, sensing the danger behind him. The Northern Demon shouted coldly and suddenly turned around. His eyes shone with a cold light. The divine tree in the sky unleashed its power, and countless petals bloomed. Not only that, but demonic flowers also appeared beside the Northern Demon. They absorbed the opponent's energy and resolved the danger of the sword. It's useless. This sword is too close. You're too late. Yu Linglong cried out and waved her jade-like hand. Sword Qi split the earth and the sky. The sword was about to pierce through the Northern Demon. The Northern Demon smiled. Open! His voice was cold. In the next moment, Yu Linglong's body trembled, and she almost fell from the sky. The long sword in her hand, which was condensed with a power that was close to the Tao, could not be held firmly. Puff! Yu Linglong's expression changed. She spat out a mouthful of blood, and her body swayed. Everyone screamed, as if they had seen a ghost. Even Han Fei and Junwuya were trembling. Shin Jingqiu cried out. Her face was pale. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. What was that? Chapter 3094. He saw a flower bloom on Yu Linglong's body. It was a flower as beautiful as blood. The flower was very small at first, only the size of a palm, but it kept absorbing Yu Linglong's power, vitality, and blood qi. It kept growing. In the end, it was as big as a millstone. Yu Linglong's face quickly turned pale as she lost her strength. He let out a loud scream. Tens of thousands of sharp multicolored lights rushed out from his body. shattering this beautiful flower that was as red as blood. In the next moment, she fled thousands of miles away, not daring to approach the North Demon again. How did you do that? Yu Linglong's expression was filled with fear. At that time, a power that was close to the Tao surrounded her body, but the North Demon could bloom a flower in her body. Didn't that mean that the North Demon's power far surpassed hers? He had suppressed her power. She couldn't believe it. You're not my match. The North Demon stood with his hands behind his back. He looked like a peerless demon king. Humph! Yu Linglong snorted coldly. Although she was injured and lost her strength, she wasn't willing to admit defeat just like that. He reached out his hand and pressed it into the void. Instantly, the plant defense around the North Demon exploded into pieces. For a moment, there was nothing around the North Demon. Yu Linglong shouted as she reached out with her hand again. A powerful storm instantly enveloped the North Demon. The storm appeared too suddenly. Even the elders screamed in fright. She had comprehended the law of wind to such a level. It was silent and impossible to guard against. That's right. Not many invincible kings were able to stop him. Boom, boom, boom. The palm of wind exploded. The destructive power completely annihilated the North Demon. She had succeeded. Yu Linglong revealed a smile. Although the North Demon was strong, he was still careless under her law of wind. Her grand wind handprint was definitely capable of injuring her opponent. The surrounding people exclaimed. Was the North Demon injured? Even such a powerful Northern Demon was injured. This Yu Linglong was too terrifying. Han Fei and Jun Wuya were shocked. Yu Linglong's strength had increased beyond their imagination, especially Han Fei. He smiled bitterly. He realized that he didn't have any confidence in defeating Yu Linglong. Lin Xian's eyes flashed, and golden light appeared. Was the North Demon really injured? He remained doubtful. In the distance, Qin Wu looked up and snorted coldly. What do you know? My brother's power isn't something you can imagine. In the sky, the countless storms slowly dissipated, revealing a figure. Everyone looked over. In the next moment, they were stunned. Yu Linglong screamed. She was not injured. How was that possible? How could his grand palm of wind not hit the other party? Did he miss? No, he should have been hit. What was the North Demon was wearing? Lin Xian's eyes. Green vines covered the Northern Demon's body, forming a green vine armor that covered his body. The green vine armor actually had such a thing? Yu Linglong screamed. Wasn't it already extinct? How could it still exist in this world? Green Demon Rattan? What was that? Qin Wu, an elder, exclaimed. That was a mutated species. Rumor had it that it had disappeared during the ancient era. How could it be in the North Demon's hands? The green demon vine was extremely terrifying. It grew crazily, and its vitality was extremely strong. It was said that a single green demon vine had destroyed a world of stars. It had sucked all the energy from that world of stars dry. That world of stars had become a dead planet. There were no longer any living things there. There were very few green demon vines, but during the ancient era, there had been a great disaster. Hundreds of worlds had been completely corroded and were in danger of being destroyed. Fortunately, there was still a Dharch around. With a wave of his hand, the green demon vine was completely destroyed. Could it be that the Dharch didn't kill all the green demon vines back then? Instead, he left a few behind? Everyone was puzzled. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard that. A single plant could destroy an entire world? Why did this sound like something out of a fantasy story? If it was before, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. However, when he saw the dark star ruins being split apart by his sword, he knew. Destroying a world was not a difficult task in the eyes of those super experts. After all, a world was just a planet. For those super sages, it shouldn't be difficult to pick the sun and moon with their hands, swallow the sun, and split the stars with their swords. Moreover, there were thearchs above those super sages. Rumor had it that the green demon vine had destroyed dozens of worlds, but it was destroyed by a Dvarch from afar. How imposing was this? How powerful was this? Lin Xian was extremely excited just thinking about it. Lin Xian was excited, but Yu Linglong, who was in the sky, was not excited at all. Her face was pale, and she was about to cry. That was an extinct mutated species. How did the North Demon get his hands on it? If it was really the green demon vine, why would she fight? The entire world would be in danger. The elders were also worried. The green demon vine in the North Demon's hands was a potential disaster. The Misty Peak leader looked into the void and shook his head slightly. There was no need to worry. It was just a dead green demon vine. A dead green demon vine. Many elders heaved a sigh of relief. However, the palace lord frowned slightly. Although those green demon vines were dead, the North Demon Vine was a demonic beast. But don't forget, Northern Fae had the body of 10,000 Fae. These branches of the green demonic vine might be able to regenerate in his hands. Chapter 30:95. 7 bewitching flowers bloomed in the air, emitting mysterious runes. The 7-flower formation released a powerful energy that shrouded the area in front of it. In an instant, the void shattered, and the spiritual chi between heaven and earth was sucked dry. Yu Linglong's body trembled. She felt that her chi, blood, and energy were about to be sucked dry. In the next moment, she no longer dared to hesitate. She waved her hand, and the green-red wind sword that was tens of thousands of miles long slashed down. Boom, boom, boom. That sword was too terrifying. Green light filled the sky, and a storm blew. Fortunately, there was an array protecting it. Otherwise, the entire outstanding warrior manor would have been destroyed. However, what was even more shocking was that such a stunning sword could not withstand the 7-flower formation. The 7 demonic flowers in the 7-flower formation grew crazily and took away all energy. Although the green-red wind sword was terrifying, it was drained of energy by the 7-flower formation and instantly dimmed. Gradually, it became tens of thousands of miles long, and then thousands of miles long. In the end, it disappeared. The 7 flowers grew into monstrous beasts. Each of them was like a majestic mountain that stood in the void. The 7-flower formation was originally formed by the 7 flowers. Now that the 7 flowers had grown into huge beasts, the power of the 7-flower formation had also increased exponentially. Yu Linglong, who was trapped by the array, trembled. Her face was pale and bloodless. In the next moment, she fell from the sky and could not even stand up. The energy in her body had been completely drained. What? At this moment, everyone was shocked. The elders of Linglong Peak screamed. Linglong! They did not expect Yu Linglong to be defeated and stripped of all her energy. I admit defeat. Yu Linglong fell on the arena and said weakly, she did not even have the energy to speak now. The winner was the North Beast of Misty Peak. The judge quickly announced the result. After hearing the result, the North Beast descended from the sky and waved his hand. The 7 demonic flowers in the sky spun rapidly, and endless energy poured into Yu Linglong's body. Soon, Yu Linglong recovered, and the 7 demonic flowers disappeared. The tree of 10,000 demons in the sky also slowly dissipated. The North Beast descended from the sky like a demon. Had his energy recovered? Yu Linglong sensed her body and did not feel happy. Instead, she smiled bitterly. Too powerful. The North Demon was truly like a demon in front of her. With a flip of his hand, he could summon clouds and rain with a flip of his hand. He had her life and death in his hands. This feeling was really unpleasant, but there was nothing she could do. It seemed like no one would be able to defeat the North Demon this time. As expected of the number one in the House of Prodigy, the others screamed in shock. The Northern Demon was too strong, so strong that they trembled. They couldn't resist at all. In their opinion, neither Yu Linglong nor Han Fei were qualified to fight against the North Demon. Is this the first place of our House of Prodigy? He was simply too powerful. The Northern Yao had long since entered the ancient starry sky path, and he had fought against the prodigies of the other worlds. Moreover, he had established an illustrious reputation for himself. Looking at it now, it was indeed true. Who told me that the wood element was only a martial artist who could heal and assist? I'll slap him to death. F***CK. This is the first time I know that a wood attribute martial artist is actually so terrifying. I reckon that if a flower were to grow on my body, it would instantly suck me dry. The geniuses were trembling in fear. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he clenched his fists. The myriad demon body, the Tao of wood. He was simply too shocked. He didn't expect the North Demon to be so strong. However, at the same time, he was extremely excited. He had finally found an opponent who was worthy of his full strength. Previously, neither Jun Wuya nor Han Fei could make him use his full strength. After all, he had only used the power of annihilation. He still had the power of smoke and fire that he hadn't used. Moreover, he had the great dragon sword soul. It could be said that Lin Xian had only used half of his strength previously. Now that he had seen the North Demon's strength, he was very excited. Perhaps only the North Demon could force him to unleash his full power. The competition continued. During this period, Yu Linglong encountered Han Fei again. In the end, Yu Linglong won. Han Fei's expression wasn't very good. If nothing had happened previously, he would still be in third place. However, this time, Lin Xian had appeared. If this continued, he would only be in fourth place. He couldn't even enter the top three? The people from Divine Providence Peak were also in despair. They couldn't accept this result. Didn't that mean that they would be in last place this year? The elders' expressions were also dark. This position had always belonged to Full Moon Peak. They didn't expect that Lin Xian would appear from Full Moon Peak this time. Shui Jiue, He Mo, Huangpu Beitian, and the others were even more bitter. Because other than Lin Xian, Zhong Linxiu and Shen Jingqiu had also appeared. The two of them were extremely powerful. They were second only to Jun Wuya and the others. In other words, apart from those who were close to the Tao, no one was a match for them. The spectating Sky Prides were stunned. There would be a huge change in the rankings this year. Yes, the top 3 had changed hands. The top 10 would probably be shaken as well. The first echelon was Lin Xian, who had cultivated close to the Tao. The second echelon was even more shaken. The top 2 positions in the second echelon would be taken by Shen Jingqiu and Zhong Linxiu. Huangfu Beitian, Shui Jiue, Mo Tian, and He Mo were probably going to have to stand at the back. Lin Xian was also very happy. He was naturally happy that Shen Jingqiu could achieve such results. Moreover, Shen Jingqiu had yet to comprehend close to the Tao. If Shen Jingqiu comprehended that power, in addition to her spiritual body, she would probably be able to defeat Yu Linglong. This little girl's potential was definitely super strong. Lin Xian decided that after the competition was over, he would make a copy of his Tao insights and give it to Shen Jingqiu so that she could comprehend close to the Tao as soon as possible. The competition was gradually coming to an end. Currently, only Lin Xian and the Northern Demon were victorious. Lin Xian and Yu Linglong had also exchanged blows. The two of them had fought until the heavens and the earth cracked. In the end, Lin Xian defeated Yu Linglong. As for him, He had only used the power of the Annihilation Dragon Sword Soul. He had not used the Law of Fire. Yu Linglong's delicate face was covered with ice. She had not expected that besides losing to the Northern Demon, she would lose to Lin Xian. Didn't this mean that she had fallen to third place? Han Fei was even more miserable. He was indeed fourth. This Lin Xian was too strong. He could even defeat the second place Yu Linglong. Most likely, only the Northern Demon would be able to subdue him. Damn it. How could eldest senior sister be defeated? The people from Linglong Peak did not dare to believe it. The elders also had ugly expressions. They were not surprised that Yu Linglong had lost to the Northern Demon, because they had seen the Northern Demon's strength many times. However, losing to Lin Xian was still difficult for them to accept. Although Lin Xian had comprehended the plenilune wordless steel, although Lin Xian had displayed great strength and defeated Jun Wuya and Han Fei, however, Lin Xian's rise had been too short. It had only been a few months. For a moment, it was hard for them to accept. Chapter 3096. But no matter how hard it was to accept, they couldn't change this fact. Lin Xian had indeed defeated Yu Linglong with his strength. They didn't expect that after Northern Monster, Lin Xian would appear. How would he compare to Northern Monster? Probably not. Northern Monster's 1,000 monster body and with laws were just too terrifying. Not only was Northern Monster's attack powerful, but his recovery speed was also terrifying. Once the 1,000 monster would descended, it gave Northern Monster a strong life force. Northern Monster was already in an invincible position. The elders discussed while the others were also guessing. They were looking forward to the battle between Lin Xian and Northern Monster, because they knew that the two of them would definitely fight. The first place would be decided between the two of them. However, most of the people had high hopes for the North Demon. After all, the North Demon was way too strong. His name had long been etched into the hearts of the people. Even though Lin Xian was a newly risen genius, he was still lacking in comparison to the North Demon. All of a sudden, 99% of the people thought that Northern Monster would win. Only Shen Jingqiu, Crimson Dragon, and a few others believed in Lin Xian. Hearing the discussions around him, Lin Xian looked at the North Demon. The North Demon also looked at him. Their gazes clashed in the air, shattering the void. Come! Lin Xian leaped up and stood in the air, pointing his sword forward. Northern Monster, come out and fight. As you wish. Northern Monster stepped into the air and arrived on the arena. Their domains charged out. Lin Xian's sword energy turned into a world of sword Dao. On the other side, countless plants danced behind Northern Monster, forming a forest. Their domains clashed, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. The powerful storm caused everyone's hearts to tremble. Han Fei and Yu Linglong's breathing quickened. They didn't dare to be careless. Northern Monster waved his hand, and countless trees grew around Lin Xian. They covered the sky and charged toward Lin Xian. These plants weren't normal. They all had the strength of a monster king. Boom, boom. Those branches and vines stabbed towards Lin Xian, wanting to pierce Lin Xian's body and suck his blood and strength dry. However, when these attacks collided with Lin Xian's body, a low sound was heard. Then, these branches all broke and turned into fragments, scattering in the void. What's going on? Everyone was shocked. Lin Xian's body shone with boundless light. He stood there motionlessly, allowing the branches to attack him. He was unscathed. Everyone's mouth twitched. Those elders were also stunned. This physique was too strong, worthy of being the 9-yang divine body. Why do I feel like there aren't many invincible kings who can hurt him? Lin Xian flicked the dust off his body. Then he reached out with his golden hand and tore apart all the trees in the surrounding forest. Bring out the power that is close to the Tao. Lin Xian looked at him. Nine Yang divine body? He was indeed valiant. His eyes flickered, and his expression was filled with excitement. Different from Yu Linglong, this Lin Xian was someone he cared about very much. The other party was the successor of the great dragon, and the successor of the Nine Yang divine body. It could be said that his potential was unparalleled. At this moment, he found that the Nine Yang divine body was very hard. His ordinary attacks couldn't penetrate the other party at all. He could only use the power that was close to the Tao. He formed a seal with his palm, and with a low shout, the void split open. The shocking tree of 10,000 demons descended once again. It covered the sky and covered the earth like a demon city. Lin Xian waved his hand. On his golden palm, the Nine Yang divine fire jumped out. He didn't use the law of fire. Instead, he only relied on the flames in his body. Endless flames burned and turned into a giant dragon. It roared towards the sky and charged towards the tree of 10,000 demons. Fire was the nemesis of the wood element. Would the northern demon be able to withstand it? Countless people were nervous. Indeed, wood countered fire. Wood-type martial artists were most afraid of fire. However, that wasn't necessarily the case. If an ordinary fire-type martial artist faced a powerful wood-type martial artist, they wouldn't be a threat at all. Instead, their energy would be sucked dry. It was the same for Han Fei from before. Lightning-type martial artists also countered wood-type martial artists. However, in front of the northern demons, Han Fei couldn't fight back at all. Could the current Lin Xian pose a threat to the North Demon with his flames? They didn't know. It's useless. You underestimate me too much. Take out your power that's close to the Tao. The northern demons shook his head slightly. In the sky, the tree of 10,000 demons swayed. Countless vines and flowers bloomed, sucking the flames dry. In the next moment, the northern demon's eyes suddenly shone with a cold light. Since you're not willing to take it out, I'll force you to. With a wave of his hand, the tree of 10,000 demons in the sky exploded. Endless vines fell and covered the entire sky. The terrifying demonic vines quickly bloomed and swept towards Lin Xian in a dense mass. It was as if the entire world had turned into a forest. The descent of the divine tree brought with it a terrifying power. Countless voids collapsed. The tree branches streaked across the sky like streaks of lightning. In front of the tree of 10,000 demons, Lin Xian was extremely small. Boom, boom, boom. The flames on his body rose into the sky and bloomed. They turned into golden crows that spread their wings and rushed forward. The terrifying flames engulfed the heavens and the earth. The terrifying heat shook the void. The 9 golden crows were like 9 suns. They collided with the tree of 10,000 demons, bringing with them a sea of flames. The tree of 10,000 demons emitted a hazy green light. Its branches danced like divine spears. The 9 golden crows collided with each other. The 9 golden crows were instantly pierced through. The tree of 10,000 demons was unharmed. It's too powerful. It's simply a divine tree. Nothing can destroy it unless it's a true law. I think even the power that's close to the Tao can't destroy it. The northern demons are too terrifying. Is this the body of 10,000 demons? Buzz. In the distance, everyone was discussing. Soon, they screamed, because after the tree of 10,000 demons killed the flames of the 9 golden crows, its huge branches whipped Lin Xian's body like a giant dragon. This time, even the strongest invincible king would be split in half. Clang! An earth-shattering sound resounded like thunder. Lin Xian's body shone brightly. This time, he didn't dodge. Instead, he took it head-on. Golden runes shone on his body. He was unharmed. He's fine? Many people's eyes almost popped out. This kid's physique is too terrifying. Lin Xian was also a fierce person. His 9 yang divine body was powerful. Ordinary divine abilities probably couldn't hurt him. Only a power that was close to the Tao could hurt him. Flowers bloom for a lifetime. The northern demon wasn't surprised when he saw this scene. He pointed his finger forward. Buzz. Countless demonic flowers grew around Lin Xian, quickly absorbing his energy. Many of them even wanted to take root in his body and break his 9 yang divine body. Not good. It was this move that had injured Yu Linglong previously. Lin Xian was in danger. Yes, these demonic flowers were abnormally powerful. They could deprive all power. Lin Xian frowned slightly. He did feel that the surrounding spiritual energy was instantly sucked dry. Not only that, the blood in his body was also surging and rolling, trying to leave his body. Chapter 3097. What a strange power. Lin Xian frowned. He activated his great dragon sword soul and destroyed the strange power. The demonic flowers outside couldn't break his body, but it was dangerous if this continued. After all, the other party had already used the power of laws. Lin Xian sighed. It seemed like he had to use laws. He had already seen the North monsters with laws, so he didn't dare to be careless. Destroy. Golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes, and he swept in all directions. Instantly, with him as the center, countless black cracks appeared and spread in all directions. Everywhere they passed, the demonic flowers quickly shrank and withered. In the end, they scattered and disappeared. Everyone's scalps went numb and their bodies trembled. What kind of power was that? Why did it feel like Lin Xian was the death god who could take everything away? Once he used annihilation, he could turn everything into nothingness and cease to exist. The North monster was shocked. Although he had seen the other party's power of laws, he was still shocked when he personally experienced it. Indeed, the other party's move was similar to him forcefully taking power. However, the essence was different. He forcefully absorbed the demonic flowers to make them stronger, while the other party directly dissipated them. The power of annihilation? Interesting. Let's see if you are stronger or if I am stronger. 10,000 trees descended. The northern monster waved his finger, and the tree of 10,000 demons above his head rumbled as it descended. At the same time, the 10,000 demon tree seemed to have come alive. It grew quickly, and the entire sky exploded, forming a forest. Hundreds of thousands of miles, millions of miles. It was densely packed and endless, covering Lin Xian. How terrifying! Was this the North monster's true strength? The geniuses trembled, and the elders were terrified. Lin Xian also shouted coldly. He pulled out the fire Qilin sword and swung it to destroy the sword energy. Streaks of sword qi shot out in all directions with the power of annihilation. Everywhere it passed, the plants withered crazily. However, the descent of the 10,000 demon tree was too terrifying. It was densely packed and endless. He could only wave his sword energy again and again. In the end, he sent out a sword lotus that covered him. The terrifying sword spun, and countless sword energy swept in all directions with the power of annihilation. The two forces that were close to the Tao clashed against each other. All the cultivators in the surroundings were stunned when they saw this. The reason for that was because the scene before them was simply too strange. In the sky, the forest rapidly grew, but with Lin Xian as the center, the surrounding dozens of miles was actually a vacuum zone. Under the power of annihilation, no plants could get close. Could it be that it would become a contest of strength? Who would be the first to give up? Who would fail? That might not be the case. The North Yao was too strong. Millions of miles of land had been transformed into a forest, while Lin Xian could only defend a few dozen miles. The difference was just too great. Moreover, Lin Xian was definitely inferior to the North Demon when it came to controlling power that was so close to the Tao. Lin Xian had only meditated for a few months, but how many years had the North Monster been meditating for? This was a gap that could not be bridged. Yu Linglong, Han Fei, Jun Wuya, and the others were watching nervously. Lin Xian was strong, but the strength displayed by the Northern Demon made them tremble. Humph, stinking brat, you're no match for my brother. Qin Wu also looked up and snorted coldly in her heart. The Crimson Dragon and Xinjing Xiu were extremely nervous. The North Demon frowned slightly. Was it blocked? He realized that although Lin Xian's space was much smaller than his million miles of forest, it was still blocked. However, he still managed to block it. Even if it was only 1 meter, he still couldn't pierce it. The divine tree bloomed. The North Demon formed another seal and roared. This time, a 7-colored flower bloomed from the tree of 10,000 demons. When this demonic flower bloomed, it covered the entire sky. It was too big. It was so big that one couldn't see the end of it, and the power of destruction that it brought was definitely much more terrifying. Oh no, Lin Xian is in danger. The Full Moon Peak's Grand Elder exclaimed. The others also felt their scalps go numb. As expected, the safe space that Lin Xian had created collapsed instantly and was instantly enveloped by countless plants. Lin Xian was also enveloped by the divine tree's flower. The 9-yang divine body tried its best to block. Although it did not shatter, the divine fire and light on it dimmed. It was like a flame that could be extinguished at any time. This power was too strong. Lin Xian was also shocked. The great dragon sword soul. With a cold roar, Lin Xian used the great dragon sword soul and the power of annihilation. The two combined to form a dragon-shaped sword chi that quickly slashed in all directions. That was why he was able to survive. Otherwise, that attack would have sucked away most of his power. Annihilation Sword Lotus, the 13th sword. He waved his long sword and formed a sword lotus. It carried the aura of annihilation and the great dragon sword soul, and exploded quickly. The lotus jumped from the sword blade and suddenly grew bigger. The lotus bloomed and formed a terrifying scene. It quickly fought against the divine tree's flower in the sky. Boom, boom. When Lin Xian was enveloped by the flower of 10,000 demons, everyone screamed. Among them, Han Fei, Yu Linglong, and the others shook their heads. They thought that Lin Xian should have been defeated because they could not resist at all in front of this demonic flower. They thought that Lin Xian should not be able to resist it. However, in just an instant, they were dumbfounded. Lin Xian rushed out. Not only that, but he also brought with him a green lotus that was as powerful as the flower of 10,000 demons. The two powerful forces collided in the sky, and the forest within 1,000,000 miles collapsed quickly. He actually resisted the divine tree's power of annihilation. How did he do it? Yu Linglong screamed. She had been injured before, and naturally knew how terrifying this demonic flower was. However, not only did Lin Xian come out, but he could also resist the flower of 10,000 demons. His power of annihilation had become stronger again. It was several times stronger than before. Han Fei screamed, too. He was in disbelief. Jun Wuya's body trembled. What was going on? He had fought with Lin Xian before, and lost. Even so, he thought that he was only slightly weaker than Lin Xian. However, from the looks of it, that was not the case. Lin Xian was much stronger than him. If Lin Xian fought with him and used such power right from the start, he probably would not be able to block even one attack. Indeed, the sword, or a lotus in the sky, could turn someone like Jun Wuya into ashes with just one attack. Even the North Monster was surprised by Lin Xian's strength. Had he become stronger? And several times stronger. This kid had hidden so much of his strength before. It should be the effect of the Dragon Sword Soul. As expected of the Dragon Sword successor, the North Monster immediately thought of the Dragon Sword Soul that was famous in the world. That was an unparalleled saint technique. Not to mention the power that was close to the path. Even the trashiest martial arts could become an unparalleled attack under the effect of the Dragon Sword Soul. Not to mention the power that was close to the path. Suddenly, his pupils constricted. Countless green vines surrounded his body and formed a set of armor. In the next moment, the ocean-like forest in front of him instantly shattered, forming a vacuum. A sword aura-streaked across the void and slashed toward his glabella. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.